make a girl a promise. If you know you can't keep it. They let me pick. Did I ever tell you that? Choose whichever Spartan I wanted. You know me. I did my research, watched as you became the soldier we needed you to be. Like the others, you were strong and swift and brave. A natural leader. But you had something they didn't. Something no one saw but me.
Welcome to the Xbox Series podcast. Last week was episode 12 of the Xbox Series podcast. That means this week is the 13th episode, the episode carrying the number 13. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming along and joining us. I'm carefully avoiding putting the episode number together. Sorry, fella in chat carrying that particular name. But for everybody else that doesn't know what's going on, we're going to get on with it and we're going to have a good show. I've got alongside me Deadly, Headley and Gamzly. Gamzly's face is absolutely frozen. It's one of the downsides of just spending this length of time in prison. But Gamzly, how are you doing?
Oh my god. Well, hopefully you guys can fucking hear me because apparently mic troubles hit every time. I got... Can you hear me? Can you hear me? How about now?
Kind of a relief when we can't, but
Oh,
hope we can.
that's savage.
Stay nice and close.
I'm doing
Get them tones
fantastic.
across the waves.
Oh, I am doing fantastic. It's so funny because when I'm looking at my little monitor here that's showing me when I peak or not peak, it's telling me I'm peaking every time I open my fucking mouth. So I'm very confused right now. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of games, Asa. It's going to be a good conversation, and I got some shout outs to shout out in our community and talk shit. I'm ready. Are you ready?
One of the topics that we've got lined up for today. For those that don't know, Gamzly puts a lot of effort into this show. Every week he's compiling this document and lists out all of these topics, and it makes my life a lot easier. So I do appreciate it. But one of the topics that we've got coming on there is just titled The Great Debate, and he's put no notes in there. So there's one for everyone to look forward to. I'm sure it's going to be as great as advertised. And we've got other topics around games and showcases and all of these other things that are happening. But first, Deadly, Headley, you've released a video. Tell us about that and tell us how you've been.
I have. So yeah, I did actually put a video out this week. I'm not going to lie, I got very, very lucky with the news cycle this week. So on Monday, I had started writing a video essentially theorizing a way that Xbox might be able to boost its hardware sales following some of the news that we saw last week about how hardware is down significantly, and sort of bouncing off of the fact that a lot of active players, both across the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, or it's the Xbox Network now, isn't it? Are actually still on last gen hardware, and there are two IPs that are likely to shift numbers in a very, very big way on that front, being Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. So I'd started writing a video about that, and then literally while I was at work on the Tuesday, the news broke that a showcase had been announced, and I think we've all put two and two together and gone, it's probably Call of Duty that's being teased. So I posted my video. I was really glad that I did. So yeah, obviously make sure you go and check that out after the show. Definitely stick around for the show. But yeah, go and check that out afterwards. As for how I'm doing, I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. As usual, surprised that it's already Thursday. But yeah, I've had a good week.
Good. I have, you know what? I looked at that. I was listening. I watched your video when it came out, and it is a very good video. Considering how quickly you did it on that news, it's very well edited and very nice and tidy. So people should watch it after the show if you haven't already. But I did a little Google search just now to confirm that you're absolutely right. Brotato is available on Switch, Xbox One, iPhone, and yeah, it's not giving anybody any reason to go anywhere or play any games. So
It's on iPhone. That might get me in trouble.
It's made for that specific used case.
Yeah, it
God
is.
damn it. All right,
Okay,
Asa?
yeah, I'm about to waste a lot of time on that.
why did you recommend it
Tell
to me?
him,
And never
Asa.
mind, doesn't matter. We're not doing
Tell him,
Brotato
Asa.
again.
Oh,
What we
we're
are going to
doing
do though
Brotato.
is we are going to talk about some good games, and like we could talk about some bad games, and they'll still be better than that one. Headley, I'm going to start with you actually, because you've been very busy. You've been doing videos and all that kind of stuff. But have you managed to get any games in this week?
So I briefly jumped into Fallout 4, and I found a really cool mod video which I tweeted out last week, and I might try and remember to retweet it during this show, so you can find that at deadlyheadley_. I'll retweet that at some point during the show anyway. But yeah, found a really cool mod video that sort of took us through some really nice environmental mods for Fallout 4, just to sort of make it look a lot kind of fresher and more vibrant, and really sort of bump texture quality and texture diversity up as well. Started playing through that a little bit. I also purposefully tried to make my character look like Lucy, because I thought that might be fun, because I really loved the Fallout TV show, and just thought, okay, so the first time I played through Fallout 4 properly, because I picked it up and played it for a little bit when it launched, but it something about it just didn't quite gel with me that much. But I went back into it years later, just before Starfield came out, and I modded my playthrough. I modded in armor from Halo and weapons from Halo, which made all of the NPC interactions quite entertaining, because essentially I was just a do-gooder Spartan out in the wasteland, and I quite enjoyed role-playing it that way. So that was really fun. But I haven't played your sort of typical wastelander, that isn't an augmented 7-foot super soldier that is essentially indestructible. So yeah, that's been quite nice. I played that for a little bit. I couldn't help but jump into Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I really like. It's so pretty. It's such a good looking game. It's just gorgeous to look at. It's really fun to play as well. I really like the different stance mechanics that you've got in that game. And it definitely feels like just a nice evolution on from Jedi Fallen Order. So yeah, really been enjoying that. I tell you what else I did do this week.
Whoa. Slow down. Hold up.
We do have some
Wait a
questions. We're building
second.
them up. Go on, Gamzly.
Oh yeah. So, what stance do you roll with in Jedi right now?
So bearing in mind I'm not that far into it, so I don't know what other stances I might be unlocking, but at the moment I am rocking the double lightsaber. So when you've got like a single blade in each hand, and the Darth Maul style one, basically rocking Darth Maul.
Okay.
Darth
So you're
Maul's
not doing
setup,
Claymore.
so
You're not doing like double-handed Claymore one, right? Did you get the Kylo Ren stance yet?
no, not yet.
Okay. Oh,
So
man, I can't wait.
I've literally just gotten to the first planet that you get to after you leave the starting area. So yeah, I'm not that far into it at all. But what I have played so far, I really like, and it's gorgeous. I can't get over how good that game looks. Like, it's crazy. Visually, it is one of the one of the most impressive games that I've played so far in this generation, in my opinion.
And it's running perfectly smoothly for you, right?
It is, yeah.
None of these
Very
PC
nice.
people can say.
Which is really unfortunate, because it is lovely.
I'm sorry to cut in and ruin it, but Asa, do you think that I can pop in and out of Discord? Will that break the show?
I can surely make it work. So yeah, do what you need to do.
All right, so keep
yeah, it'll be
talking.
fine.
I'll be right back.
We're going to, because I got questions about Fallout. So that was Jedi, whatever it was, Survivor. Right?
I'm gonna talk just very, very briefly about the one other purchase that I made this week, because I'm really excited about it. You know,
can you just shuffle a little to your left and then talk? Just a little, perfect.
Yeah, let me.
You're good. We can hear you.
I'm now not centered to the mic or my monitor. So the other thing that I did this week, I'm going to sort that out when Gamzly's back. It's not going to matter when Gamzly's back. It's fine. The other thing I did this week was I picked up a external like a hard drive card, like the NVMe SSD cards by Western Digital for my Series X, which I'm really, really happy about, because if you've been listening to this show for a little while, I keep on having to delete games off my hard drive to make more room for more games that I want to play, and it's frustrating as hell. Like the other week, I really wanted to play the Master Chief Collection, just to play some old Halo campaigns, and I couldn't pick a game that I wanted to delete, because everything that I've got on my hard drive is something that I want to play and keep on. And it's stressing me out so much, man. So yeah, I actually bit the bullet and I've ordered an expansion card for my console, which I'm really, really happy about.
I know the struggles for the console space. I have that every day, and I'm sure a lot of people watching do as well. We've got a super chat from Pete to say that according to his phone, we've got 100 people in the Gaming Arcadia Discord now, so that's awesome.
Very nice.
If there is anyone here that is not already in that Discord,
how they can do that,
then, well, for one thing, you're definitely missing out, because we do have a brilliant time in there. There is a nice, easy link to follow if you want to get in there. It is https whatever discord.gg/gaming-arcadia. That'll get you on there. You can have a little look around, see if you like it, become a member if you do, and all of those kind of things. But typically we have a bunch of people chatting and streaming games to each other. We have our little giveaways and competitions, and a constant stream of chat about everything from games to freaking frogs apparently, and anything in between. So be there. I want to go back to Fallout.
We also have
questions for you.
We also have a looking for group function on there, which is really, really helpful as well. So if you might be looking to squad up, and Jordan, if you're listening, I'm sure that we can find some of the Halo crew in the Gaming Arcadia Discord to sharpen those skills, ready for our little tournament. So that'll be fun. Yes, make sure you join that.
Absolutely. Practicing for games is cheating, but go ahead. I wanted to know about Fallout, because you've been modding it, right? I've never modded console games before. Never been inclined to do that. So when you mod Fallout, first of all, you stuck Master Chief in there. Was it the cool one from the games or the half-naked one from the series?
Tell me half naked, please.
The models look like they were taken from, I want to say, like Halo 3 sort of era, like Halo 2, Halo 3. So I can't pinpoint exactly which, but the armor is nice. The armor is really, really cool. And yes, it does look like Chief from the games rather than. Yes, yeah, you did. Well, that's the thing. You do have that option in Fallout, don't you? So, if you want to roleplay as Master Cheeks, like, that's your prerogative. Like, that's the beauty of a Bethesda game, right? There's no judgment. You can just show some cheeks.
Right, it is the TV Master Chief featuring in Fallout over there, which is how it is. What about the more serious mods, though? When you're doing all of these like texture replacements and things like that, you're obviously on a console. You got this fixed hardware. Do they hurt performance at all, or is it
so?
Just fine?
I have noticed with the load order that I have found, because I always follow somebody else's guide on YouTube. I don't know much about modding myself. It's something that I'd like to learn more about, especially with Starfield coming down the track as well, and eventually mods being added to that. Like, I that is how you get the most out of Starfield, and Starfield already offers a hell of a lot. So it's something that I've only really started dabbling with fairly recently, really, since I sort of modded the Halo gear into Fallout 4. It's a bit of a faff because you have to sort of manually search for every mod, and it takes a little bit of time to get all of that right. You also have to make sure that your load order is in the correct order, otherwise things start breaking. But again, I typically follow guides that I find on YouTube, and they've always been really helpful. There's some really useful content creators out there. So I tell you what, when Gamzly starts talking about his game, what I will do is go and find the name of the guy that I used so that we can give him a proper shout out. I have noticed that performance has dipped a little bit. I can't even say it's particularly in sort of heavy action scenes. I just sort of noticed like the odd hitch here and there. But generally speaking, you know, quite broadly on the Fallout update that we had, excuse me, on the Fallout update that we've had in the last week, I'm quite impressed with it. It's just a lot sharper. It's a lot smoother. It's not a complete game changer. It's not going to feel like a brand new game. It will a little bit if you start modding stuff and you've not done that before and you just want to make it look a bit prettier. But it's still Fallout 4. It's just sharper, crisper. You can tell where it's aged a little bit. And again, just to sort of bring Starfield back into the conversation a little bit, you can really tell like how much work and how much effort went into iterating on Creation Engine to bring it into Creation Engine 2 to bring Starfield to life, because Starfield, by comparison to Fallout 4, is just such a step up in terms of lighting quality, in terms of texture quality. It's a really beautiful game. But the overall experience for Fallout 4 just feels a lot cleaner compared to when I last played it.
And so last one on Fallout mods in particular. Have you come across any mods or the mod scene in general that you feel are essential now? Or could you just go back to Fallout 4 and you'd be having pretty much the same experience?
I honestly don't think I know enough about it to answer that question properly, to be fair. Because I'm not one of those guys who has spent a long time modding a Bethesda game. And that actually is, you know, that's the intention with Starfield. I really loved vanilla Starfield a hell of a lot, and we're going to talk about Starfield a little bit more later. That guy that just mods the shit out of all of his console games, that's what I want to do with Starfield. So I guess Fallout is sort of my practice arena. So actually, if that's something that you're interested in, I'd recommend having a play around with it. And I am sort of learning as I go. But yeah, like I said, there's some really helpful load orders out there. So if it is something that you want to start playing around with, I would recommend it.
Yeah, I'm not going to. No time for Fallout 4 at the moment. But for those that are listening, play around, make the game your own, do what you want with it. That's what the mods are for. And it is great that they are coming to console. Yeah. Gamzly.
Hey. Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Can you hear me again?
Speak to me directly. Don't worry about everybody else. Speak to me directly.
Good. I'm playing around. The Fallout 4 stuff is interesting because when we went to, like, in one of the earlier episodes that we've done, I was saying, like, look, start with, you know, Fallout 4 or 3 or Vegas. I don't remember which one. I think it was Vegas. They have heavy modded communities that make it run a little better than previous. They even have Bethesda putting out these patches that make, you know, Fallout 4 run at 60 and whatever. To answer your question, I think your question was, like, does it make a difference? Do you really care about the mod or whatever? Does it run way better? There's a charm to the older ones. If you still go back to the older ones, there's still a charm to the older ones. I'll stand on this hill until I die pretty soon. The older ones are fine. go play 3, 4, normal 4, because 4 right now is kind of broken. I think on the with the updates on the console version. I think a lot of the mods are broken at this moment because of the update, and that's kind of backwards. Instead of like pushing it forward, it kind of fuck up the whole thing. There was already 60 frame modes for some of these mods, so yeah. Fallout and Fallout 3, New Vegas, all that stuff, they run great. They're still good games, whether you play it the old versions or this new updated Fallout 4 version. Mods are always going to be there making things better, and shout out to the modders. They're all doing some good work, and shout out for Bethesda for breaking 4. But anyway, what are we talking about now?
Well,
I was happy
we're
here.
going to move on.
Just before we carry on, I have put in chat and I've retweeted it as well. The content creator that I followed is Lunar Gaming on Twitter, and I think just Lunar Gaming on YouTube. They've done some really solid mod videos for Fallout 4 that do work post update, that largely focus on texture improvements, lighting improvements, and they do just elevate the look and feel of the game broadly without really throwing any spanners in the works. But I've played 2-3 hours, so 100 hours in, my mileage may vary.
Actually, so I did a manual non-technical mod on Fallout 4. Walked out into the desert, looked straight at the floor so that all I had was a brown square, and then I fell asleep. The potato mod. Gamzly.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything. Forget it. I'm not taking the bait. I'm not doing it. Yes.
What have you
about
been playing,
Gamzly?
Good for you, man.
Yeah, I'm not taking that shit. I'm coming with fire later on. You do know, Asa, that when Brotato Co-op drops, right? When this update drops, I'm gonna have a new potato right over here. I already bought him. He's in the fridge. I don't know
We're
why.
gonna have to have two. We're gonna have to have two. It's co-op.
Yeah.
You can't just have a lone potato when you've got co-op.
Exactly. You got it.
Crazy.
Yeah. There's gonna be his friend, his buddy, his cousins. Maybe I'll have 4 stringed along all the way over here in the backdrop. Yeah, you never know. But yeah, what have I been playing? Some good games, as Asa would say. I jumped into Sandland. I have my little notebook here, and I written things down as I was playing to, like I did with 100 Heroes. I did play 100 Heroes again as well. I gave it another shot in the earlier episodes. I expressed it's kind of like, it's what?
Have you beaten the mole or the badger or whatever it was that you couldn't defeat last time?
Yes, I did, and it was okay.
Trivial.
The thing about the game, and I wanted to update the impressions because again, it's impressions. I'm not doing reviews right now. I don't do reviews of stuff that I don't actually beat or at least put solid hours in. 100 Heroes I've put in up to this point 15. It doesn't get better for me, sadly, because I really did love the look of this game. I loved the idea of this game, the art direction, the voice, the cast. I loved the heroes in it because it's all about them. But the gimmicks in some of these combat sequences, as expressed last week, the gimmick system of like some heroes that you fight or some bosses that you fight, they give you these little gimmicks that you could like move around your guys in the tactical combat area. To either dodge attacks or cover or defend, etc., or maybe you have to time something at a certain turn and then it'll stop the boss from hitting you or whatever. It's a bunch of, as the name suggests, a bunch of gimmicks, and most of the gimmicks don't hit, like, at all. I don't really find it fun at all because it's mostly random. It's always random. Like, you never know what the boss is targeting. So even if you take, let's say, some heroes and you avoid in a certain direction, but you want one of your heroes to hit the boss at the same time, etc., it'll just, you might waste a turn for no reason because you might like hide most of your heroes and then it'll hit the one that you don't, put into combat, and it just stalls the combat a lot. I don't like it. So updated impressions on that. It started to click with me when I wasn't fighting bosses. Then I fought a lot of more bosses, and then it's just useless. I don't. It's not clicking for me at the moment. So I would probably pass on that. So yeah, I'm not gonna give a full review there. Just my updated impressions. I had an up and down swing with it. I was not really gelling, then I liked it, and now I'm just not gelling again. So take that for what you will. The other things that I've been playing. If you had any questions, you could ask me, Asa. You have any questions about 100 Heroes?
No, I'm still, despite everything that you said, I'm still absolutely gonna play it. Does the voice acting like maintain its density? There's still lots in there.
Yeah, I love the character. Look, that's why I had that moment of like, oh, I love this, because as you go around, you're collecting more and more heroes, and they do have a charm to them, and they're lovely, and a lot of them are really well executed voice-wise. Some of them have their storylines as well, and that's satisfying. But unfortunately, the whole, all the combat's just not there for me at all. Which is sad, but that's the big problem with the game for me anyway. The gimmick system just doesn't land at all, and when it's good, it's barely amazing. If that makes sense, it's like it's good, but it's never
Barely
amazing. It
I
never
need more
blows you
amazing.
away. It's barely amazing. Yeah. So yeah. So that's that. Anything from you? Any other questions before I move on to the next one? Nope.
Deadly, any
Good.
questions
All
about
right.
100 Heroes? No. No, next one. Tell me about Sandland. I'm really curious. Sandland is likely to be, I'm in the middle of a review for Pyre, but
Yes.
Sandland I've got my eyes on for the next one
Okay,
because
like,
it's not
if-
had that much coverage, so tell me about it.
Yeah, if a lot of our communities are interested in this too, a lot of our communities engage with the Dragon Ball hype. Akira Toriyama is amazing, and everything he touches has a style and art, a style to it. And this is bleeds that. I'm gonna start by saying this is a anime game. I'm judging this impression on like anime game genre. To me, they have a separate little niche. The anime games are usually okay, but they hit with fans in different ways, and I think that this is a really good anime game, and it's just also a charming video game that you could pick up, and I think that more often than not, people will actually, find and enjoy the experience. So, the story's pretty simple. The war, there's like a war that happens in the beginning. It's an empire against the rebels type thing, right? There was a great war that basically destroyed the planet, resources got scarce, and then one empire controlled the entire water supply. And that's what you're doing mostly throughout the game, is that you hear about like this oasis to the south that has an infinite amount of water in it, and you're trying to go get it. And as the name suggests, it's a sand land. It's all desert. 99% of the world is covered in desert. And you're going to find water for your friends and your little demon friends, demon kind. It's humans against demons. Yeah, so that's like the little quick plot line there. You're basically humans that's destroyed the planet. There's not many of you left. There's demons for some odd reason that I will not,
And there's tanks, right? Tanks and things are
Well, yeah,
fairly central.
I'm getting to that. That's
Right.
part of war, isn't it? That's good. So yeah, you're going around finding this water and supplies for your little camp. When it comes to combat, so they break it up in two styles. They have the action. To me, this is an action adventure. The industry calls it, an action JRPG. That's fair enough as well, but I don't really see the customization I don't really see the RPG customization that is in depth with this game. I wouldn't call it a JRPG. It's an action game. Action adventure. It very minimal customization within the combat. So when you're out and about outside of the tank, it's straight up action combat. You have a dodge, you have a few skills that you could trigger. You have your party members that you could actually they're kind of they work like Atreus in God of War, where you could like hold the shoulder button and then call them into the fight and use an attack. They're always neutrally attacking whatever's in front of you. And then your own guy, you know, you have a jump, you have a smash down, you have special abilities that you could shoot. It's not too crazy, but it's satisfying. But when you're in the tank, this is where it gets really fun. When you're in the tank is like super customizable. This is where most of the customization comes into play. You can switch the guns on your tank. You can make it into a mech. You know what I mean? Like more mechanized suit. It's really satisfying just traversing with it. You half the game you're traversing in this big open space, so getting from A to Z is very satisfying. You're rolling around in the tank, you see something, you can blast it or get out of the tank and go beat it up yourself with your fist. There's puzzle mechanics that you could do with your tank. You know, there's obvious, like, you could blow up walls. There's visible walls that you could blow up, and
so
they're
little pause on something you just said then, though. So your guy that you're playing as, little human guy, is like equivalently strong to a tank. You can choose whether to fight something in a tank or to get out and hit it with a sword or whatever.
Well, so you play this, you're a demon, so you're more powerful than a human, and yes, if you want to get out of your tank to beat things up, you can do that, but I haven't done that. Sometimes it locks you in the tank. Like, sometimes you have to be in your tank. There's no way you could beat the thing in front of you without the tank, but those moments are the most satisfying to me. So I like when they kind of do it here. The tank is very minimal in like how it can move. Like, you don't have like this super dodge or anything. You can kind of just use your nitro boost to move away. It kind of becomes an arcade shooter at that point, where you just like, you're moving your tank away from the bullets that are coming at you, and you're shooting at the same time, and it swivels 360 degrees. You know, it's fairly simple but satisfying. I'm really liking it.
They're like pretend tanks, right? They're not really slow tanks.
No, this is not like what is it called? That tank game. No.
World of Tanks, whatever.
You have a good speed to the tank. It's not as fast as you might think, though. It's still lumbering. It's not too quick. It's not a speeder. You know what I mean?
What's the art style like on
It
Sunlight?
looks like
Just 'cause,
it looks exactly like a Dragon Ball Z
nice.
anime. So that's why I brought up the
Sounds cool.
anime game. If you like anime games, you're gonna love, and you like Dragon Ball and you like this creator, you're gonna love this game. This game is I would consider it one of the good anime games, and even a fun game by any standard. So yeah,
Nice.
if Darge, if you're hearing this, play this game. It has all the charm of
Oh wow, you weren't kidding.
yeah.
That's
It
like
has
that's a full-on Dragon Ball Z anime.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's well, this comic came out. Well, manga came out in the 2000s by Akira Toriyama, so it's the same creator. They really
Dude, this looks
did tribute this well.
This
They
looks
translated
really,
it very
really
well.
good. Yeah.
It's fun. It's very
This
fun.
looks
Like I
really
said,
cool.
when you're outside of the tank and you're doing your standard action combat, it's not that gripping, but they do give you a good balance of the two. Like I said, this is beaming with a lot of the charm that the anime has, a lot of the charm that creator has injected into the industry as a whole. It does grab you. The only thing that I will caution in is that this is not a perfect 9 out of 10 game. What differentiates these games apart from each other, you know, a 10 out of 10 or a 7 or 5 or whatever, is how they deliver and combine everything. You know, the music, the visuals, the timing of it all. It's a little lacking here. They have great voice acting, for instance, but it's not timed well and blended well with the music, you know? Like, sometimes there's hard cuts in places. Sometimes it feels empty, like
Mhm.
they're talking into a microphone with nobody around them, which most
Mhm.
games, do. It just feels that way, it has that feel, but
Mhm.
it still has that overall charm and intrigue. It tugs you very nicely, so I would give it a shot. If you like anime, you like this guy, you like the creator, pick it up. It's a good time. You're gonna like it. Darge, this
So
is a very Darge night game. Pick it
I've
up,
I've said
play
this
it, have fun.
before. I've said this before. I'm not an anime guy at all. Like I really don't like anime. But this looks sick. Like I'm on board. I want to play this. It looks really really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Nice.
Stephen
Um,
Southwick just asked
yeah.
if this was made by the same people that made Blue Dragon. Stephen, it's not made by the same people, but Akira Toriyama, the artist, did the characters in
Mhm.
Blue Dragon. So there's that very distinct link in art, yes, and the Dragon Quest games as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you love this creator, he has a art style that's infiltrated again all across all mediums, books, TV, whatever, anime, games. He's influenced so much, and this is one of those good ones. This is one of those games that I think is adapted pretty well to the source material, and it's a fun time. Every time I pick it, I'm thinking about it right now. And usually with these type of anime games, I'm not really interested, right? But this got me. It could be my biased. I'm just giving my opinion. The weakest part is how they blend everything together. Like I said on the top, they don't really hit that like harmony, that song, with the sound effects and the voices and all that stuff coming together. But it is a solid, fun video game.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. If
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that's definitely on my list to get to sooner rather than later, and obviously weighted by the fact that he has passed away, so gives more impetus to get on with it, whether it should or not. It just does. So
If it's right now on Steam, Xbox, and all the good stuff. It's $79.99. If if you're not an anime fan,
that's
and you
Canada
don't
money for
like
anyone
this
that's
guy,
scared.
you should probably wait, and you're still interested.
Yeah.
Well, you should probably
I'm
wait for the sale, right?
I'm gonna add it to my wish list,
Yeah,
and I'll keep
wait.
an eye on it because I've actually been using that function quite a lot on Xbox lately, and it's really helpful because they will email you whenever your game is on sale.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's really worth using that function if you don't already.
yeah. So I would recommend anyone that's not a fan of these style of games or this person, you maybe could wait a little bit to play it. But for those who are looking for an anime game, and it's pretty dry out there right now for good anime games, this is something you could pick up for the price and have a blast with, especially if you're nostalgic to the creator himself. I think it's a good stepping point.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right, carry on, because you played more than that. What's next?
Yes. Oh, and by the way, I played enough of that to get to like the biggest town. I'm past the tutorial. I'm past several bosses. It's a fun time. I'm playing it before bed. I'm having a blast. All right.
Did that tutorial
Next.
take you 7 hours?
It surely did go by way faster. So yes,
Good.
because it's an action game, right? It's more action adventure. So
Yeah.
faster paced overall. Okay. The next one was Sand. Oh yeah, another Crab's Treasure. I have to call it out. I was watching community members play this game, and I watched it, and they didn't like this game, which I find fascinating. But I'm having a blast with it. I'm past two big bosses in this game. I'm not gonna go as in depth as I did with Sandland because I consider this an actual preview of it in my own way. I think it's worth a pickup in if you like Souls games. I think this is a charming Souls light game. It's not as difficult as most Soul games. This is a fun game, man. It has very interesting like the shell mechanic that your shell could break and you have to hop in and out during combat. For instance, some bosses will have specific shells lying around that will, if used right, help you against that boss if you want to make it a little easier, or you're having trouble, or you're just learning the mechanic. they're very clever with that. It's hasn't been done before. It's very cute. It's lovely. It's a lovely time. Go pick it up. I just wish there was more weapon variety, but the shells kind of pick up where the weapon variety lacks, and they went with the defensive variety instead of the weapon, kind of the offensive variety. So I find it very interesting what they did there. So yeah, shout out to that. It's in Game Pass right now. If you love games, go pick it up. It's worth your time.
Question on that one,
Yeah.
and I've seen it a little bit in the trailer, because this is actually my first time watching the trailer. But I heard on another podcast this week, I want to say it was XboxEra's highlights. They talked about how there's a big focus on awareness around environmental impact and pollution in the ocean. We've seen like quite a lot of like just trash that's been strewn all over the ocean floor, which really, really sucks, but is kind of the reality right now. Someone said something about a microplastics mechanic. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes. So the microplastics is your souls in this case, So you go around, and every time you like break you go around, kill bosses, break things around the world, which there's so much in this world that calls to plastic. Like, for instance, you'll see a bunch of pollution everywhere. You'll see plastic bottles, you'll see cigarette butts, you'll see a bunch of stuff. Cartons, those are part of your shell as well sometimes. Yeah, so when you kill some things or break some things, you get the microplastics, which is your like little currency, and you go in there and you upgrade yourself. That's just the soul's currency basically of the game.
Interesting.
Yeah, you break it down and you make it part of you and it makes you stronger. I don't know.
Shout out
I don't know
to-
why they make it the currency.
I'm gonna break the rule, and Asa probably doesn't know this, but I'm sure he's fine with it. But shout out to episode 13, the episode today's episode's namesake, because he was away from his keyboard for this conversation, so he now doesn't understand why we were talking about plastics. But the irony of him being away from his keyboard is because he was out doing the recycling. So thank you for doing your part 13, and you're gonna have to skip back a little bit to understand why that's relevant.
Yeah, but they do very much call out heavily call out pollution in the ocean, and it's very apparent once you open that game and you see what's going on and the themes around it. So very cute Souls-like game that you could pick up and go and have a blast with. It'll appeal to some people in here, I'm very sure. So go try it out. It's in Game Pass.
I'm on the fence.
Anything
and you've
else?
not pushed me either way on that one. No, nothing else though. That's fine.
No? Okay. It's okay. It's a perfectly fine Souls game, and there's better out there. So, I mean... Yeah. It's you know what I'm going to compare it to? It is it reminds me, you know how they say that Pokemon is the baby's first kind of RPG kind of thing? Well, this is the baby's first Souls game. You go in there, it's friendly, it's fun. Go pick it up, but it's not as in-depth as the Elden Rings and the Dark Souls, and it's not as gloomy and dark and, fascinating like those. It's just a stepping stone into the genre. Make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah? Okay.
What have you been playing, Asa?
Oh, hey. No, we don't want to hear.
Oh, have you been playing more games?
No. Fuck yeah, man. All I do is play games. I'm going to call out Have a Nice Death, because Asa freaking slammed that game.
It's actually on the dock.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So I'm not listening to you. I'm just here to say, go play that game. Don't listen to Asa. Go play that game. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's your Cleo, isn't it?
And Manor Lords, but I'm not gonna go in there. You guys talked about it. I have nothing new to say on Manor Lords.
You have a direct relationship with Cleo, didn't you? This is manipulation, coercion, not a real super chat that we should take seriously, right? Right?
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
There's no other way that it could.
Hey, Cleo.
Yeah, thank you, Cleo.
I love you. Thank you, Cleo. You're amazing. She yelled. You want to read that? Come on, read it. Read it. You have.
It says potatoes, and I appreciate that very much. But the two people that hit like. Nah.
Hit more like. She's a beautiful human being. You gotta give her some props. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, I played Have a Nice Death a little bit, but I don't want to talk about that because you told me yesterday while I was doing Q&A, sir, you came in and told me to play Celeste, all right? So I played Celeste. Why did you tell me to play Celeste? What was you? Were you hoping that I would like it or hate it? I can't remember what the anticipated response was supposed to be.
Well, okay. Well, oh boy, get Luke. I hope all of you are in here in this Discord channel right now because I'm trying to gauge Asa's actual tastes in games, all right? And as you can see, he has terrible taste in games, in my opinion, because he hates Brotato. He hates everything I like. So this is a test to see if he can actually enjoy an actual phenomenal game. And I thought that this was a no-brainer platformer that Asa could get into and acknowledge that it's a freaking amazing game. So this is your test, Asa. How did you find Celeste?
Can I say it was okay? So I don't know where that leaves you, because phenomenal, and Luke still was saying it's... Well, Luke still has it as one of his top 10 games ever, and Gamzly's giving it the big talk and saying it's incredible as well. And I went into it, and as soon as it gets into its pixel art, I was like, oh, I'm not a big fan of pixel art. And then it gets into the level structure, and if you haven't played Celeste, it's more of a puzzle platformer. So it's structured like room by room, and you get into a room and you have to figure out your way through it with a very limited moveset. You can jump, you can dash, and you can cling onto walls, and you have to figure out how to make your way across the various platforms and things without exhausting that little moveset. And if you fancy an extra challenge, yes, you can try and collect the strawberries along the way, and it's okay. Like,
it's not in your way. It's not. Oh, listen to me. Okay, look at me.
Sometimes they are. Okay, go on. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you in the face. Oh, I tried.
Okay, well,
that's as long as I could manage.
I like that you. I like that you said that. At least it's okay. Look, I wasn't expecting you to say this is the most amazing game. I wasn't expecting you to actually say that. I do value your opinion on video games, and I gave you a game that you should basically hate because again, you said the pixel art and the this and the that, and it's not your jam. But this is such a good fucking game that it could convert people like you. I know it can. Keep playing. You'll love it. Keep going. I'm telling you to keep going. It truly is amazing. I mean, can you argue me that the flow, the clickiness of the gameplay and the music is excellent?
It has. So Tony's just dropped a massive super chat. I'm going to read that first, and then I'm going to get back to you on that. So Tony says, thank you for last night. Asa is obviously talking about Q&A, so the show that I do on this channel. Sorry, not sorry. On the evidence that he left behind, PSVR is dead. PSS, Final Fantasy 15, is the best Final Fantasy. Can't argue with the massive super chat, except I can. Most of what you said there is nonsense, Tony, but thank you so much. And for the rum as well.
Thank you, Tony.
It's delightful bottle of rum. This was a gift from Tony as well. This is the evidence that he left behind, I guess. Incriminating.
Them flirting with you just to get on the good graces.
Yeah, so you asked about the clickiness and stuff. I managed to, so in that one sitting, despite not initially being that enamored with it, I did play through the whole first 2 chapters of the game. And it does have something good about it. It has something like, each room is so small and like has a good level of challenge and thought into it that it makes you go, yeah, I can do a little bit more. I can do a little bit more. I can do a little bit more, and just keep on going. But each time along the way, I'm not sure why I kept going. I don't know what it is about it. Like, why did I keep going?
But isn't that the most impressive thing? Like we talk about how. We talk about all your shit talk about, the death game and all that is that you didn't want to keep going. What is that nugget to make you keep going? And this does it subconsciously. What it is, though, that I say when I talk about Metroidvanias and roguelikes, what is the thing that I don't like about them, though? The thing that they have in common. Do you remember? I don't remember.
Repeating. It's going over the same bits that you've already done. And you don't do that in Celeste.
Okay, I get it.
Like, you don't particularly do that. You don't die and have to rewalk your steps. You don't have to, like, oh, I saw a glass wall and now I've got the ability to go through glass walls and have to go all the way back and all of that kind of crap. So it is always forwards. It's quite mazy. It's not linear. You've got different directions and secrets all over the place, but it's not telling you to go back and do the level again for any reason whatsoever. So I'm quite happy to keep pushing forwards, and I enjoy it in that sense.
Yeah. See, what do you expect from platformers like this exactly, so I could understand? Because this thing not only has an actual narrative that does actually pay off at, it does. I'm not gonna say anything, but it has a very personal story which nails it, and it has great music. It's just the right length for people that don't like, hard challenges, or it has that, like, to the design of it, like when you die, you pick up exactly where you want to do, like exactly where you are, and you try again, boom, quick. Like it's just super smart with how it puts you when you fail, like where it puts you at all times, where when you fail, you could just get back and do it again. It just has a great balance in almost every way. So what would make it better for you? Is it just the art? Is it the art direction itself? What do you want to see from a game like that?
It's very rare that I like pixel art in general as a style, so that bit isn't a selling point for it, but I don't kind of begrudge it either. I don't think it needs to do anything to be better. This is not an issue of, like, this game is bad and I don't like it. I do like it. It's just, like, puzzle platformer is a weird one, because normally when I'm talking about 2D platformers that I like, you can break them into, like, quite action-focused ones. Like, Ori's quite action-focused. It's very nippy. You've got all of this kind of movement mechanics and your attacks and all the rest of it. And you've got the ones that are more like nail the jumping, make sure you're landing on these little platforms. This one is puzzle-focused, and I've actually not played many platformers. I know they exist. I think the Meat Boy ones are quite puzzly. There's a bunch of them that are in this vein, but I've never really engaged with those. So I don't know. I don't know if I like that it makes my brain do things. Or if that makes me uncomfortable.
Well, you know what? I'm proud of you. Look, we called you out. You put you gave it a try. Are you thinking about it right now? Like, I'm
trying to decide right now if firstly, if I'm going to finish it. I think time allowing, I think I am going to push through to try and finish it. You just said that it's not all that long, and that's encouraging for me. So maybe I'm going to push through to the end, but I'm definitely not. At the end of each chapter, it tells you how many of its strawberries you found, and I'm definitely not going to go back and get all of them. If I see one on the screen, I have to have it. Like, if I see a strawberry, for those that don't know, they're like their extra challenges. So you've got your way of passing through the room, and if you want to, it's like a built-in hard mode. If you want to try and collect the strawberries along the way, then you have to do the puzzle a little bit better. You have to solve a little bit more, and you have to go and collect it. And I don't do anything apart from tell you how many of them you got. But if I see one, I have to get it, because if you see a strawberry and you don't collect it, then you've failed a challenge that's been issued. If I don't see it, I don't need to go back through the level and explore to find the rooms that have extra strawberries in. So I get to the end of chapter 1 and it's like, you found 9 out of 18 strawberries or something. I'm good with that. I don't want to go back and get the other strawberries.
It's the Mario effect, right? And I know you don't like Mario, but it's that Mario structure, and I think it does do it very well. And why I said it's like one of the best platformers. I do have it. I'm a huge Nintendo guy. I love Nintendo. I love Mario. I love Rayman. I love all these things. I truly believe that this is on the top 5, right? I truly do. I think this is one of the top 5 platformers, Nintendo included, and everyone included. I think this is the one to beat. In most cases, it's bite-sized. Like you said, the levels are short, sweet, they're addictive, they give you what you need. The story's impactful, the sound design's great. The pixel art is some of the best pixel art. So, like, in all fronts, this thing just delivers. So I'm proud of you for trying it and getting through a certain chunk of it. And I hope keep me updated, because I want to see if you actually stick to it, and if it calls your name and it keeps dragging you back. Keep us posted on that. I'm curious.
2 chapters in, and I haven't died at all yet, so I might just go for the no death run to the end. See how that goes.
Yeah. Okay. Man. Well, that's pretty hardcore. You're gonna fail.
No, I've already failed.
You're
I've
gonna
died
fail,
at least
but I'll
50
watch
times.
it.
I just wanted to see your face to make sure. I've died a lot in that game. It's one of those, like you say, you die and you immediately respawn and you go again. It's okay to die.
Yeah.
At least 50 times.
There you go. At least 50 times. You got me. You got me. Anything
I
else
like
you've
to
been
pretend
playing?
that I'm really good at things. So I did do a bit of Have a Nice Death. Someone asked if that was any good or not. It's not for me because it's a roguelike. It's clearly quite a well-polished roguelike. It looks nice. Sounds horrible, but it looks nice. And has a lot in its favour. But you do need to really like that 2D platformer roguelike to even give it a sniff, I think. So I'm not going to go into it anymore because that's not me. I don't like that kind of game very much. And I played, oh man, we had fun on Sunday playing Halo. We played Forza Motorsport and that was all right, but then we played Halo, community one, so the streams that we do, which just reminded myself, I've got to go back and get these messages that came in. We had a super chat from Danny Passion saying Final Fantasy 7 and 15 for the win, which you're right and wrong in the same sentence. Just 7. No, that's good. Like, people have their opinions on the Final Fantasy games, and we've got a little collection of people that for some reason like 15. Have at it. Enjoy what you enjoy, but not
apparently
potato.
more people bought 15 than any other one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And episode 13 has been a member for 3 months. Got a fancy silver badge going on. Says, ooh, 3 months. Thanks, Arcadia. Sundays rock. And that's what reminded me, because Sundays is when we do our community streams. Get a bunch of people together and play a load of games. And this week we played Forza Motorsport, which was same as ever. You drive the cars that go around the track. Sometimes off the track if you're episode 13. For me, I'm pretty pristine. Perfect racing lines all the way around. And then we played Halo Infinite. We did a bunch of games of custom games, Tactical Slayer. We had enough people to have 2 fairly bulky teams. So we did a load of Tactical Slayer, and I got shot in the face repeatedly, and it was very difficult because we've got some good players in there, and we've got some me players in there as well. So interesting mix. But the very last game that we had, I have to shout out, we did a game of Halo Infinite with 20% gravity, grapple hooks, and rocket launchers. And it was absurdly fun. Like, it's a stupid way to play, and it was absurdly fun, just nipping around, floating around this map that accidentally happens to be perfectly structured for grapple combat, firing rocket launchers as we go. Halo Infinite has a lot of good stuff.
I watched that over. It's nice that you brought that up, because I was watching it after the fact, and I was dying of laughter. Honestly, it was a great thing to watch. So yeah.
Don't watch that next time. Join in.
Well, I don't have enough fingers, Asa.
I'm really gutted. I missed that session. Actually, I was completely useless to everybody on Sunday night. So I had an appointment to go and get my my dreadlocks sort of retightened and done and maintained and stuff. And I started the appointment really, really late. It was about 8 p.m. We did not finish until 1:30. I got back home for about 2 p.m. and I didn't fall asleep until just before 4. So what time would you go live? About 9 o'clock on Sunday. I'm pretty sure I was actually asleep at that point. And I was sad because I found out that you guys were playing Halo via Twitter, and I was like, I am not.
It's really sad
to join
because
in
you're the best
at all.
one. You're the best one.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
If some good talent could finally play in the streams, that would be nice.
I'm not the best one. I'm up there.
You're the best one. Asa can't play
definitely
games.
not the
He
best
dies
one.
every 3 seconds.
Listen,
He
behave
crashes
yourself.
into walls.
I'm
behaved.
I thought you were supposed to. Yeah, Luke still just said them's fighting words. He's very good on the old Halo as well, but he's using the old keyboard and mouse advantage. So, got your work cut out for you. We've got a few people in there that are really good. Eradication kept shooting me in the face as well, and General C.
Luke, you heard what Asa said about Celeste. Just saying. Just keep him up.
Good puzzle platformer, eh? Maybe we'll actually get right to the end
you said
of it.
fine. You said all right. You didn't say
I said
good.
it's all right. I said it's okay.
You didn't say great. This is okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know what to
Best platformer of all time. Just okay. It's fine.
Yeah, I can't put it
It's
on.
fine.
Like, I can't hold it in that regard. But who knows? Maybe when I finish
You
it.
know what? Yeah, exactly.
I like,
All
to be
right.
fair, my favorite kind of
News?
platformers, the 2D platformers, I like the ones that have a flow to them more so. So this one is good as a puzzle platformer, but I like the Rayman Legends music levels. They're peak platforming for me. Get in that flow
you're
state
wrong.
and drift through. Now, I'm actually entirely correct, but
You're
for
wrong.
the sake of moving on to the news topics that we haven't started yet, what's the first one? We got a few topics lined
Am
up.
I doing this?
Yeah, of course you are.
Oh, sorry, I am actually attempting to keep track of timestamps for the first time, by the way. So if anyone's listening
Yeah, me
after the
too,
fact
it's
or
funny.
watching after the fact, are you actually okay? Cool.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah, we're doing the same.
we're as you can tell, we are 13 episodes in. So we're still learning the ropes, aren't we? We're still learning all the things that we need to know about professional podcasting, and one of those things definitely is timestamps, because podcasts without timestamps are fucking annoying.
Yeah,
so
it's
we're sorry
hard,
about
isn't
that,
it?
and we are working on
Whoa, this is episode 13. The
Also-
Arcadia Roundtable has been running. We've done like 100 episodes of Q&As as well. So that's like 126 different podcasts on this channel with known timestamps. They're not that annoying, but I do get that it's nicer to have them. So
Yeah, we also have a guest.
We care about the
That
fans.
guy's-
We care about the
That guy's
fans. We
a
care about the
weirdo.
listeners. We just want everybody to have a good time, and that means
Uh,
finding the shit that you actually want to listen to in good time, instead of just listening to three
You could
idiots
also
ramble on
skip-
about how much they like games for
You could
3
also
hours.
skip away. You could also skip out all the Gamzly stuff too. Just title it Gamzly. No, I love you guys. I am joking. But or the Asa one. The Asa stuff is bad. It's terrible. You know, Celeste.
I can, like, I'm on a
Okay.
separate audio track. I can just remove me from the show if you want.
So so anyways, news. We're finally gonna get into the news after like an hour. A little bit of housekeeping stuff for Gaming Arcadia. First off, hit the like. The like is very important. We're new. It helps a lot for the channel. Well, for the channel and this podcast. And we also have merch if you like us, right, Asa? Do we have merch? You
Nah.
have t-shirts and all that fancy stuff.
Nah.
You want to shout that out?
We got some merch. I know you're. Asa had a bit of beef with the merch because he doesn't like what the thickness of the cotton on the was it the
Yeah, he's
white
a
t-shirt?
snob.
But
He's a
No,
snob.
this
I
isn't
actually
true.
think
The
that
merch is
sounds quite nice.
beautiful. The
Merch
merch
is
is beautiful.
beautiful.
We do have
I'm
merch.
gonna
I've
order
been
something.
trolled into talking it up. There is a merch. So if you watch it on YouTube, there's a link at the bottom of it somewhere. I don't know. YouTube sticks it somewhere. If you're watching somewhere else, you can actually just go to gaming-arcadia.com at the moment. And right now, for the immediate future, that resolves straight to the store. You can have a look at it. Some of the stuff on there is actually genuinely really nice, including these delightful mugs. Ooh, but some of the t-shirts and things, the ones labeled premium, are
sweater.
a right treat.
Very fun.
Yeah, just watch out for them feeling too luxury for the likes of Asa. So if
Yeah.
you want your stuff to feel too good, maybe avoid. Maybe just or buy whatever
This
you
is
want to
terrible.
do.
This is terrible housekeeping. This is terrible.
Would you believe I actually work in
Let's see.
marketing?
Going in this docket, just write down do not speak of Teespring.
man.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on to the news. Let's do the first topic here. So let's talk about the I want to talk about the ID showcase.
Mm,
Can we talk
please
about that?
do.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, so my
You mean the
my
one that in the green room I told you I hadn't watched? That one?
Yeah. I don't- Yes, that one.
Professional podcasting, ladies and gentlemen.
so
Carry on,
ID
Gamzly.
ID at Xbox was pretty solid. It was, I mean, not the presentation was questionable. I like when Xbox kind of does their showcases just very much. Here's the games, here's the games, here's the games. Some devs talking for like a minute, and then a showcase after or something with more in-depth stuff. So I rather that format than the IGN format because IGN hosted this one. I didn't really like any of the jokes. I didn't like the in-betweens. I thought the hosts were. I don't like teleprompter jokes and all that stuff. I don't like that stuff. I like a more natural flow. Yeah, I didn't like the. If I had to give the presentation as a whole structurally a score, I'd definitely give it a a D plus, just the showing of it. But the games, there are some solid games in there. Let me get the list here. I have it in the doc.
Oh, while you're getting the list, I'm going to get the
Asa,
super chat from episode 13.
Yeah, go ahead.
Seeing as it's episode 13, so the person super chatting is named episode 13, you have to ask him why, but as the episode is his namesake, he says, seeing as it's episode 13 of this Xbox Gem, appreciate all the hard work and the community is brilliant. Really enjoyed Sunday as always. Go Xbox! Pom-poms, pom-poms.
Yeah,
thank you, episode 13. Like,
really
it is.
that,
I love you.
Good to have you around.
Yeah,
the support and the welcome that we've had from this community generally, actually, like even like people who have sort of reached out from their own communities and welcomed us, they've invited us on other podcasts and stuff like that. It really is amazing. Like we appreciate it so much. We really do. Like some of the guys, again, we've talked about them behind the scenes, like Risk It for the Biscuit and Black Viking. Like you guys have just invited us on your shows and welcomed us in, and it's been really cool. I was on KS Auntie's show last Saturday. I was going to shout that out at the end, so I will do, but that was a really good one, so go check that out if you can.
Yeah, there's a lot of awesome guys in the community, so shout out to you all, and shout out to the people that matter that are in here right now. You guys, you're the best. So I'm just gonna call out some of the definitely not Asa, just Deadly, and Isla in the background. She's awesome. She's nice and silent. I like that. So yeah, let's go with the first game that I thought should deserve a call out is Astor Blade of the Monolith. Do we have? Can you pop that on here on the screen?
Sure, I can.
I didn't get the YouTube video in there quick enough.
You did. It's playing. It's good.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. So this game, look at this game, guys. So Deadly, you didn't see it. So tell me what you think about this as you look at it. But I'm just gonna talk for now. I love the look of this game. I think it looks really fun. It looks interesting. Shout out to these devs. They have a really cute art style. It kind of gives me not hyper. It's like if Hyper Light Drifter was in 3D. I love the look of it. It's very interesting. Action adventure, I believe. Yeah.
Right off the bat, I'm getting a classic
Zelda
3D
too.
platformer sort of vibe. It's really nice. It's really cool art style as well. I quite like the camera angles that are being used too. They're sort of well, actually, they're quite varied because we're seeing like a mixture of like much higher shots and much lower shots. But like generally, it looks like it would feel quite nice to play just based on looking at it. Yeah, it looks really cool.
How about you, Asa? Does this do you fancy this?
I'm
Do you
watching
like
it. It has like very evident stagger when you're hitting things. It gives you that weight to it. It just stops their animations briefly, but that's something that Hades always did very well. It has that nice feel to it. So rather than just mushing it and seeing numbers fly up, and it does have the numbers flying up, but rather than that, you do get like you're interrupting them as you hit them in a way that should hopefully feel quite satisfying. Having said that, don't know. It's not like it's not rocketed to the top of my list. It just looks okay. So
yeah. So that's that. You have freaking huge tastes, and that's fine. That's okay. You're wrong most of the time. No, I'm kidding.
There's just too many games, Gamzly. There's so many to play.
Yeah, I know.
I have to be realistic. Like, am I realistically gonna get that one in my arsenal when it comes out? Probably not.
Well, I have a note here. I believe that's not even in Game Pass, so you don't have to worry about that. Choice paralysis is not going to be with this game. So that's one of the games that surprised me. I don't think it's on Game Pass. I could be talking out of turn, but I don't think I'm missing that. But this next game I freaking love. They showcase 33 Immortals again. This game, every time I see it, it looks amazing. It has that like raiding WoW MMO feel to it, but in a really unique art style and really unique setting. This just looks like a blast to play with your friends. They in the trailer they show you like a boss, and it's the obvious get out of the way from get away from the red marks on the floor mechanic. Old school, like I said, WoW stuff. You have healing, you have like classes as well. So you have the healing class, you have some defense classes, you have attack, offensive classes, like archers and stuff like that. So this looks way more in depth than I first thought it was gonna be. I thought this was gonna be like, what's that game? The Parchment game. Oh my god. Ah, I'm not gonna try to remember, but this I thought this was gonna be a much smaller title, but it's looking quite unique. What do you think about this, Deadly?
Um, less so my type of game, to be fair. I do like the art style though. The art style is really nice, but yeah, I'm not so sure about this one.
It's unfortunate for
Alright.
you because we're definitely playing this one on the community games on the Sundays because
yeah.
it supports 33 people going at it together.
Oh
And
wow!
obviously,
Mhm.
yes, the 33 Immortals name refers to the grouping of 33 to go and do things, which might work out negatively for the game overall because much as the experience is going to presumably be quite epic if you get a group that size together, getting a group that size together might prove difficult after the first few weeks of it being on the scene, unless you happen to know a lot of people to play with. But for me, that's enough. Like, we'll get that on the Sundays. We'll play through it. We'll have a bash. It looks, obviously, being a massive Hades fan as I am, I look at it and go, oh, I hope it feels like Hades to play. And I'm watching that trailer like a hawk, just looking for some of that movement. And the only thing that I would say works against it in that trailer is I don't see much in the way of movement. Like, there's a lot going on because there's a lot of people, but each of them do seem to be walking from point to point rather than dashing around and leaping in the way that I want. But hopefully,
Yeah.
come getting my hands on it, it's just going to turn out that whoever was playing there forgot to use the dash button. I'm going to nip around like a dickhead.
Yeah, that's something that I don't believe they don't believe they touched on it as like how much movement there is or skills or stuff like that. All it was a really cool boss fight that they showed, which I find looks really really fun. I can't wait for that. This will be in Game Pass, so fun for us, fun for community nights. Then the next thing that I want to talk about is just bring some Pal World to the foreground. They're updating, they putting some more pals in there, putting some more raids. There's an update and it's all going to be available in Game Pass day one, so that's also a nice thing. I don't have a trailer to show you guys. I didn't put it in the docket.
I'm
So
upset
yeah, if you're
that
interested in
Palworld
Pal
still
World,
haven't they still haven't mentioned the server support, and we're like waiting to get all of our Xbox friends onto a Palworld server so we can play the proper 32 player mode in there. Server's ready to go, community's ready to go, we've got people looking forward to it, and they said that it's coming, they've promised it, but we're still not seeing it. So that is my disappointment with Palworld at the moment because I need that.
yeah, I would tend to agree. So the next one that I found really cool looking is this game called Commandos. It's based on World War II.
Come on, it's Origin.
Very, very Wasteland. Like, it gives me a Wasteland vibe, tactical combat, all that stuff. Very cool stuff there. Yeah, this. 1 second. Sorry, I'm lagging behind here. Yeah, this game looks incredible to me. I don't know if you have seen this, Asa, but what do you think about this type of game?
I have seen this. It's so Commandos is an old IP, and this is, I don't know how the studio that's working on it got a hold of that IP to make this, but it looks quite neat. I've got no strong affinity with the IP. I mean, there's red barrels, you can make them explode, so I like making stuff explode.
Is this your type of game, Deadly?
It's an interesting one, and I think like historically, I probably would have said no, it's not. But like after some of the experiences that I've had with Baldur's Gate and that kind of changing the pace, it being a little bit more tactical, a little bit more turn based. Like my perception of that game, that type of game over time has really changed. I actually think this looks quite fun. That little shot at the end there where you'd sort of like, it looks like you've got a player sort of dragging bodies to hide them or something like that. It sort of maybe a little bit, it sort of gives me kind of like almost like a turn-based Hitman in World War II sort of vibe. That's where that's where it lands for me. But yeah, I think it looks really, really cool.
Would you give it a try? It's in Game Pass. So this
Yeah,
is another
absolutely,
one of the
man.
games in
Definitely.
Game Pass that's dropping, I
Mhm.
believe. So that would be
Mhm.
nice.
I actually think that would be
Um,
really nice to play with cloud as well. I can see that being quite
yes.
good because I am partial to a bit of cloud gaming. For anyone who doesn't know or hasn't listened to the show before, I do actually really like playing games on a backbone, like using a backbone on my phone sometimes. And I find that the sort of less demanding games or something that is a little bit more sort of turn-based, for example, something like Commandos is perfect to use with something like that. So yeah, I'm on board.
Hell yeah. I'm picking this up day one. Commandos is a cool IP and it just looks good. And it's on Game Pass, so why not? Then another notable thing is the Jackbox. The next
Yeah,
Jackbox
yeah.
games that is not on Game Pass, but I mean those games are fantastic, right? To play with everybody.
They are so fun.
So Jackbox got announced. And another one I want to mention. What do you play Jackbox? Asa or Deadly?
No, I never have,
Yeah,
and
I
I
do.
know that it's a popular one in the streaming scene that I probably should. But I don't really know how it works. Not looked into it.
It's a lot of fun. It can get quite
Ooh, so-
inappropriate. It's a game that I play quite a lot whenever me and the guys I went to uni with have a bit of a reunion. We'll get that out, and yeah, quite often gets quite inappropriate. But it's very, very fun. Because you sort of you only need one person to own the game because everybody else actually
Yes.
joins either using a phone, or I think you can do it in a browser as well. But
Anywhere
yeah,
with
it's
and it has
any
a
browser.
game code, yeah. Any browser.
Yeah, and it's just it's so easy to just jump in and play, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, you absolutely could stream it as well. I think you're obviously limited to a certain number of players, so it might be quite difficult to do like a
Yeah,
big community game session. But
mostly it's like 8 or 12 or something like that. It's a heavy amount. It's a very
that's better than I
interesting.
thought.
Yeah, it's a heavy community. Well, some of the games have different player counts, right, within the pack, but most of them are very accessible for a lot of people to play. So, well, 6 to 12 or something, I believe. Very fun stuff for community nights, Asa. If you want to think about that in the future, it'd be kind of cool to do that too. I play it all the time with my
I
family.
never want to think about
love
anything. I
Jackbox.
don't like the way it feels.
Oh. Anyways.
That's a vibe. Yeah,
You like that
I've been
pause?
there a lot this week.
Yeah. All right. So the next one. Oh, do you have anything else to say, Jack?
No, I was just saying I've got a couple on this list to call out as well, because although I didn't watch the actual show, there were a few that were on this list that I did quite like the look of. But anything that you don't mention, I'll just sort of pick up at the end.
Okay, cool. So next up, the one that I want to call out that I think is funny is Stampede Racing Royale.
Yeah.
So this is another like
list.
community game that I think isn't going to be very good, but why not? I mean, it looks fun.
It is
have,
a 60-player Mario Kart.
Yep.
That
60
sounds fun.
players on screen just whacking it off. You know what I mean? Pause.
FTW.
So yeah,
for you, mate.
what do you think about this one, Asa?
I'm definitely gonna bring this up for the community one. Is this a Game Pass thing? Has to be, right?
I believe so. I believe this is.
Question.
Yes.
I don't want to be that guy that's like, I'm only going to play games that I don't have to pay for or whatever, because that's not what I'm getting at. But when you've got a massive community-driven game,
Easy accessible.
you need to
I've
know
got the
that everyone's
trailer
got
up.
it. Like, rather than demand people go and buy it, I need to know. Like, can everyone
No,
play it
it's
with me?
coming
If
to
everyone
game
can play it with me,
preview.
I will play it.
As
It
you
is
can
coming to
see on
game
my little-
preview this summer, so it's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
actually. Yeah.
As
Then
I have on
playing
my
it
little
depends
paper, that was
entirely
one
on
of
other
them.
people wanting to. Yeah.
Yeah, my
I'm not gonna play
notes
this by
on that
myself.
one was the only one. The only one that I have crossed out in the don't know area was Stampede. That's unfortunate. So, Yeah, it looks
I
like
think
it's
it looks
not going to
great.
Game Pass.
I think it looks really, really good. I'd happily pick this up. I think this looks like a
Mhm.
lot of fun.
hmm
And yeah, I mean, we obviously don't know, but it may be fairly well priced if it's going straight into game preview first. We'll find out. But yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, easily. I mean, $19. Why not? You know, if
It's in the
it
hands of
comes
the
out in
gaming
advance.
Arcadia community. If they want to play it, then I'm playing it. If they don't, then I'm not.
Awesome. Where is this one? Oh, this is so strange. I'm trying to find a specific trailer, and it's only the PlayStation um trailer. So you're gonna get that.
Won't hurt you.
Okay. The
this is
next one,
humanity.
I want to give another shout out to that I think is really cool looking is Sulfur. This looks fun as hell. But I'm weird like that. Not everybody's taste is the same, but this is like a Doom. This is a
This looks
weird,
sick.
funny Doom roguelike, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what genre this falls into, but it looks like a fun time. Yes, roguelike. So it's an FPS roguelike, and it looks like Doom. It just very cool style. I'm ready for this. What do you think about this one? Sulfur.
I think it looks cool. I really like the art style on it. It sort of reminds me a little bit of it's sort of like a cross between Firewatch and 13 in terms of like art styles for me. But I like it a lot. I think it looks really cool. Maybe not Firewatch. There's some Firewatch-esque. Like some of the environmental stuff sort of reminds me of Firewatch a little bit, but it's not really like Firewatch. But it looks cool. It looks really, really fun.
What do you
It's
think?
going to have to do a lot to convince me because you know I don't like roguelikes. And you come off the bat and
Yeah,
told
that's
me
what
it's
I
a
thought.
roguelike. So
I
Like-
shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. I should have been like, yes, it's a Doom-like experience. But
no, it needs,
you could clearly
this
see
trailer's
the
gonna need to
elements
show
of
me
it,
some
right?
incredible weapons. It needs to show me that you can build like that every run you're going to be phenomenal and it's going to be freaking awesome every single time. And it needs to show me that I'm going to go like, oh man, I got crazy lightning powers this time, and I get to the end of the roguelike run and it
But
says,
look
well,
how
next time's
fun
going
it
to
looks. Look
be
at it.
even better. Does it?
Look how fun it is. Look at it. Are you crazy?
I need
Come
more
on.
explosions. I need more lightning powers. I
they're-
need something that says you're going to want to
they're-
play this same level again. Not just once.
Yeah,
it's a
but
roguelike.
look at it. Look at the impact of the bullets and their freaking limbs flying off.
There's
It's so good.
one bit in there where it had like a little cave in of all the rubble and stuff, and that made me think, well,
Yeah.
maybe if I can smash the environment up, then it's not so bad to have to travel through it again and again.
You know what? You just don't like joy. You don't like joy. Okay. Next up, Farah. So Farah, I think Farah, the community might love this type of game. How they explained it was Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter with the survival base sim mechanic.
Like
so it's
this one.
another base sim survival game with Monster Hunter kind of mechanics where you would take on those big monsters and you farm them and you create your weapons and stuff like that. It looks interesting, doesn't it? They put a heavy emphasis on traversal. They want it to be fun and quick, and you can get from point A to point B very quickly. That's out of their mouth. So they really focus on the glider and the speed in the air and traversal. So looks really quick, looks really fun. What do you think about this one?
I'm on this
Reversal looks
one, I
awesome.
hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah?
The trailer's doing the right things because it's showing me co-op. It needs to, like, I've had enough traversal now. Go and show me some fighting so I can decide if I like it or not. But world is pretty enough for what it's doing, for like the scope and scale of it. You can see forever. And it has a coherent art style. Not necessarily my favorite art style, but it is coherent. It is consistent. And here we go. Now we got some fighting. She ran away. She's a coward.
Ooh, nice little
Big hammer
grapple there. That's cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've
I
got
like the
higher
look of
hopes
it.
for this one than that roguelike one you were just talking
Yeah.
about.
I forget. I knew that one wasn't going to be for you, but it's fun as hell anyway. All right. So Farah is definitely looks like it's a win for their Arcadians in here. Yeah, and then next up, this is a personal intrigue of mine, is Tales of Iron 2. Maybe it might not make most anticipated on this list, but Tales of Iron 2. This looks awesome. Tales of Iron 1, shout out to that game. Really awesome fun with this game. I love it. It's brutal. It's hard. It's just a good time. What do you think about this?
I haven't played the first one.
Most
No, I
people
haven't
haven't.
But
But it has its
it's-
core audience, and that's why a second one's being made.
And they shot for the Souls-like, kind of like 2D Souls-like vibe in the first one, didn't they? I assume they're carrying that on for the second.
Yes. Yep.
The concept
Quite
doesn't upset
interesting,
me,
right?
but yeah. Putting
Yeah.
up the trailer from the Nintendo channel by accident, but it'll do.
Yeah, I pulled the one
Whiskers of
from the
Winter.
PlayStation one. But
Mhm.
that's the only one I could find, unfortunately. Okay. So yeah, any thoughts on
I
this?
like that
Deadly?
art style. I just say, like, I like the paper cutout art style thing that it's got going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite unique.
Initial art style looks cool. I need to get like a clearer sense of the gameplay from what the trailer is giving us, because you're only seeing a little bit, and obviously you're far more familiar with the play style of it, having played the first one. Visually, it's really, really nice. It's very cool, actually. I do like the way this looks.
Yeah, isn't it freaking awesome?
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
that hand drawn kind of style has really sort of come back into vogue recently, and I really like it. Like, there's a lot of, I don't know, I think we sort of went through a bit of a phase where everything sort of started adopting a similar art style and just sort of going for as close to Uncanny Valley as was possible for a little bit. And actually, it's really refreshing to just see more devs go for something that is just
I tell you,
far more creative and out there.
like
Go on.
art styles that trend, that start getting like replicated all over the place. If this kind of cardboard cutout thing ends up replacing like pixel art, so I'm not a massive fan of pixel art, and that became particularly like the trying to do the 8-bit pixel art style. That became
I'm
really
with you on that.
commonplace. If everyone goes
Yeah.
for this kind of look instead, I'm all over it. That's great news.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I agree with you
that's
on
good.
that.
I like hearing that though. I like hearing that because I'm gonna shout out the indie stuff and what I think about it later. But I mean, people have to pop out these days, and finding these art styles. It's exciting to find these art styles. So shout out to these guys. They do some good work. Again, the first game really good. So go check it out. It's still worth playing if you want to play that one. Okay,
Wait,
and the last shout.
Dodge, super chat. Before we get this last chat, Dodge has just given us
go for
another super chat to say that he's going to listen back to all of this tomorrow, including Gamzly's hot takes. He loves his fellow Arcadian brothers. There we go.
Hasn't
Thanks,
been
Dodge.
any hot takes yet. I'm very
Yet.
Oh, yeah.
There's still time.
Yet. You Darge, you prick. Anyway, I love you.
What was the
Okay.
last one you were going to call out?
Yeah, so the last one I'm going to call out, and then I'm going to talk over it because we all know this game. Well, Dungeons of Hinterberg also gets a shout out, but we've seen it so many times, and I'm not interested in bringing it up again. They didn't really show anything new for Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's on the dock, Asa, Vampire Survivor, Operation Guns DLC, Feat Contra. So this looks insane. If you love Vampire Survivor, you're going to probably love this DLC because Contra is amazing and this looks amazing and it looks so fun. What do you guys think about this trailer? Look at this. It looks so crazy.
I have not seen this trailer yet.
Oh, is it not up? Is it not
It's
up right
playing
now?
now.
No, not quite yet. Not quite
Ah,
yet.
there
It's
it is.
playing now. Let's
Yeah,
have
you
a
just
look.
gotta refresh it. Yeah. It looks crazy. How about you, Asa?
The trailer so far looks crazy and not related to the game in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
So give it a minute.
It's at the end. Yeah, okay, I'll talk over it. So, shout out to Contra. Contra is awesome IP. It doesn't get the love it deserves. It needs more love. If I ever want anything to, not like the Nintendo, like that. Didn't they do like a Contra thing with Nintendo? recently that was really meh. But anyways, I want
Oh,
Contra
sure.
to come back in this style. This style specifically, I think it's beautiful. I think it looks fun as hell. Contra needs to come back in a big way, and yeah, this DLC looks crazy. There
Yeah,
you go.
actually,
Short DLC, short and sweet.
yeah, and it looks like the style of the Contra weapons blended into Vampire Survivors. That trailer makes it look better than description would have had me believe. It actually looks like a really good fit. And Vampire Survivors is like a million times better than Potato. Still not like my favorite experience in the world, but I can play that and stuff happens and it's enjoyable. Like it has an addictive quality that I can recognize and see because it gives you little objectives and stuff to do as well. So it's playing a lot of the game for you in the same way as Potato does, but like each level is different and has these objectives and purpose, and you unlock things and you discover things as you go. So that DLC actually looks quite interesting.
Yeah,
Right?
this looks cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
Uh,
So quick things that I wanted to shout out. But Dungeons of Hinterberg was on my list as well. There's something about that just looks really, really gorgeous. I also it's where is it based? It's Iceland?
Hinterberg,
It's
probably.
thanks, Asa.
What did you-
It's I liked I'm not 100% sure which what the country of origin of the studio is, but I like that they have clearly sort of embraced sort of culture and folklore, and it just looks really, really lovely. So yeah, quite interested in that. I've had a quick look at the Hangry trailer, which is, a little bit janky from what I've been able to see, but also just looks quite sort of silly and fun. All You Need Is Help actually looks like quite a fun party game to play locally if I have sort of just other friends around and we're kind of, I don't know, doing some sort of couple night or whatever where we're just hanging out with some friends who don't really like playing games a lot but will happily pick up like a party game or something like that. Typically I'd expect to see a game like this on the Switch, but it's quite nice that it's coming to Xbox, and thankfully I've got enough controllers to entertain everybody. That would be really, really cool. Isla in the chat has just pointed out that we only have one question so far, by the way. So if you have got community questions, we do have room for them. So if there's anything that you want to ask, feel free to.
Yeah.
Keep it clean,
And
obviously.
hit that like button too. It really helps. Hit the like button.
Oh,
We love you.
absolutely.
Hit it. Hit that thing. Do it constantly until
And
it
then with Stampede,
lights
which
up.
I mentioned as well, but we've really covered that one. So yeah, those were my little shout outs on there. Dutch also had a showcase. There was a lot of good stuff on there. There were like over almost 70 games on there. There were a few that I called out that I really liked the look of. One of them we're actually going to talk on the show about a little bit. In a little bit. There are a few that unfortunately are only PC only, are only on PC for now. But I think they are being developed for console as well. One was Deathground, which I really like the look of. It's kind of like a Jurassic Park survival sort of thing. And I actually know the dev that's working on it. So at some point, he doesn't know this yet because I haven't reached out to him. But Asa, it might be quite nice to do some sort of interview if and when it does come to Xbox. So maybe we keep that in mind. And I will obviously give the dev a heads up. Or just send him a link to this and be like, hey, I'm going to mention you at some point. I'm not going to tell you when. No, actually we will, because we'll timestamp it. Maybe. And Mouse was the other indie game that I was quite excited about, that I mentioned on Dutch's show as well. But there's a hell of a lot of stuff on Dutch's show to go and catch up on, so I would recommend checking that out if you haven't. And I think the general consensus from the community was that Dutch's show was put together better than the IGN one was. So
yeah, year in, year out. So I didn't watch the
Yeah.
IGN one live. I caught some of the trailers afterwards, but Gamzly was saying the presentation and the jokes and the in-betweeny bits weren't for him. That's just as trailer after trailer with good pacing in his indie showcase every year that he puts a ton of work into. So shout out to him
He's a
for,
really
for
strong
doing
show.
that. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we love-
meticulously time-stamped as well. So like any game that appeals to you, or if there's a game that you're just not that interested in, you can just skip to the next one. He's really put the time in to get it nice and easy to
Yeah.
navigate your way through.
Yeah. Shout out to all the indies. You know, we they're the ones that are really pushing a lot of good content out right now. As we wait for the big AAA games and all that good stuff. So shout out to all of them, and yeah, let's play some games. Do we have anything else on this topic that we want to say? I think I'm done.
No, I'm done with that too.
Okay. Okay, cool. I will rapid fire some news that we've missed a little bit, so we're gonna take this time to shout it out. Turns out Sea of Thieves hits 40 million players. This was a while ago, so shout out to Rare for really finding an audience. They're a great studio, and we want those guys to live as long as possible. So shout out to them hitting that big number. 40 million is a huge number. Sales or not, I mean, that's a lot of eyes on your game. So shout out to them. What do you guys think about that? Quick fire, don't have to go deep.
Fantastic
news.
numbers. I like Sea of Thieves.
yeah,
I want
really
it to be I actually wish they'd developed it slightly differently to the way that they did in terms of what they added post-launch. They were very responsive to criticism. I think they should have ignored the criticism and gone a slightly different direction, but awesome achievement for them. Still beautiful game, and that number is before the PlayStation release, so it's only going to go up from there.
How about you, Daddy?
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, good,
called you
good
Daddy.
news.
Daddy. Daddy.
Who's your daddy?
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Demonetized.
Little preview of our members only content coming soon. No, it's not. We're not doing that. We should do that. No, I'm kidding.
Me and Darge.
Good news for Sea of
Darge,
Thieves.
if you're listening.
Um,
It's gonna be BB and Little Daddy. Let's go.
Anyway,
Podcast.
great news for Sea of Thieves. I think it's out on PlayStation now, isn't it? I think we can
Don't
all
say
assume
that name.
it's
Don't
probably
say
doing
that.
quite well. It's come on. I think I hope that PlayStation does the thing that Xbox want it to do for Sea of Thieves, because although some people may not feel great about the fact that there is a first-party Xbox game that has now gone third-party, the reality is that game needs funding and it needs to be supported by its players. And if it does well and it ends up feeding the ecosystem that Xbox has brought its users, it can only be a good thing, in my opinion. So I hope that it does well.
Yeah, kudos to them. Not much to say on that one. This other one is it goes with the indie stuff. Hypercharge. This is it's a nice story. We don't have to go so deep in it, but the developer credits a lot of Xbox help with, getting his project off the ground. Hypercharge looks fun. Obviously, we haven't played much of it, or at least I haven't played. Is it out or is it not out, this game?
No,
It had an early access release on Steam for a long time.
That's what I thought.
It's been out for a couple of years to play around with.
Yeah.
And
So shout
has
out-
a reasonable amount of polish. Like it looks good. It's got convincing off-brand like rip-off toys and things. 'Cause obviously they haven't gone for official licenses, but very clear. You know what they're getting at with each of these toys that you can play at, and it's competent. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks awesome. It looks fun. We just want to give credit to the dev for making his dream come true, and it's a good story. And go check out this game if you like these style of games. It looks fun. It looks like a blast. I just haven't dove into it yet.
I would, if you can find it, actually try and find the show that Gaz and Asa did with the
Yeah.
developer for this game over on the GameOn Daily channel. It was a really, really good interview. He seems like a really nice guy. He has worked his absolute bollocks off to get this to where it is. And the video that the dev posted, basically announcing that it was out was really lovely, or coming to Xbox finally. It was dated. Was really lovely too. So shout out to him. And yeah, if you can find that episode, you should.
There's something about the game, from what I have played of it, what I've seen of it. It reminds me of the Dreamcast in a weird way, because it's like contained in that way. It features things like split screen, and it's just got that vibe to it. Which is not to say that it looks like really dated or anything like that. It looks modern. It's got really, like, the toys are convincing. The material work is really, really good. But it also looks like the kind of game where you're not going to be whacking microtransactions on to get your latest dance and costume and stuff. Like, it's a proper game you can just go and play. It's that kind of scope. So I hope they do really well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It looks really fun. I've already pre-ordered it. You can pre-order it now. I think it was I paid something like £22.50 for it. So it's not a huge expense. But yeah.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Awesome. So go check that out if you're interested. It's tons of fun. Then there's the breaking just like now. There's a breaking. I mean, we don't do much rumors on this show, but I'm going to call it out. Apparently, Xbox cloud streaming is on the horizon in July 2024. So streaming your games that you own, not only the
Really?
ones on that comes from XboxEra. So take that with a grain of salt. We don't have to deep dive in it. Just putting it out there that that XboxEra dropped that little article there.
So that just
So,
dropped
I think
like
that's coming.
pretty much
Yeah,
now.
25 minutes. Yeah,
Okay, nice.
25
Cool.
minutes ago.
So we know that it's coming
that
because Xbox confirmed that it's coming already. It's not like a secret surprise thing. They said it's coming. So the date is the bit that's news there, in that it is hopefully fairly soon. I say hopefully. I don't care. I'm not going to play games like that. But Deadly, you like the cloud. So.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah,
I like it too. I think this is awesome. It gets by the barriers of the Microsoft Store not having like the cross buy. You know, that's how I get past it. I have like the niche games that don't make it on there usually. So I have I think some Sega games haven't made it there yet, and I play those and then I stream it to my devices. So I have a use case, but it's a very small use case.
I'm gonna spin this into a bit of a topic then, because I'm gonna ask some questions as well. And obviously we're not across the detail on it, so we're just going to speculate a little bit. If this potentially means that Xbox are going to allow you to access your entire digital library via the cloud,
Yes.
that potentially means that some of those titles may work across other devices like the Asus ROG Ally, or no?
Yeah. What do you mean? Yes.
So
if you could stream your digital libraries, yeah, you could
to something
access
other
them.
than just your phone.
Of course.
Yeah. So
That's the point,
potentially that
yeah.
means that you could play them on a desktop, or you could
Exactly. That's my exact use case scenario. Because sometimes
that's a good
you
move.
have an Xbox version of a game, but that Xbox version of the game isn't supported on the Microsoft Store. This is the way
Yes.
around it. So if you have
Yeah,
your PC open and you want to play it on your PC, you just stream it from your Xbox, all good. Or vice versa, you play it on your phone or something somewhere else. But it's nice to have your digital library accessible everywhere you go. It's good news. All
Okay,
right.
interesting. We'll obviously look into that detail properly, and yeah, like if we feel there's enough to talk about, we can talk about it next week. But yeah, obviously that news is like broken within the last half hour. So yeah, cool. Sounds good.
The other thing, sorry if we're going really quick here, but I don't want this show to be like 3 hours. So we like to keep it a little bit close to 2 hours if we can. Next one is I'm going to bring up the main topic, or what should have been the main topic of the show, which is getting into, let's say, a little bit of the predictions of the showcase coming up for Xbox. So
I mean, it was the main topic until the real main topic decided to make
Yeah.
itself known yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a bit.
Predictions
Awesome.
will never be the main topic, I promise. It'll always be actual
Yeah.
game.
Yes. So let's talk about a little bit of predictions. What do we think here, and then we'll close off the show with my little hot debate. No, it's not gonna be a hot debate. It's gonna just be funny. Yeah, I'm gonna start. There's a ton of stuff floating around there. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think that they come out swinging. We see that they're obviously gonna have a COD showcase right after the event, or what people think is a COD. It's pretty much out there in the open. I think this is going to be their big shot here. I think this is their moment to impress and really gloat that ABK is part of their team, and really, put forth their huge library of games that are coming in the future. My prediction, not in Game Pass, this one. I know that is a controversial opinion, but again, it's just a prediction. I don't think they showcase this for Game Pass. I think they might still be bound to some things, and if they are not, big win, right? So win-win for us Xbox customers anyway. COD's going to be a big movement for them. I think that's going to kill for them in the future and this year and this quarter. Let's go with Gear 6 is also all but confirmed. Not confirmed directly out of Microsoft, but a lot of buzz and fire going on with Gears showing up at the showcase. Man, I cannot wait. So I think that makes a entrance. I think they show it first. I think they pop with that. And they show like COD somewhere in the middle. That's what I think. If I wanted, I'm gonna give you like a heart, like a fantasy draft from the heart. I hope they do a Fallout announcement of some sort during this showcase. I hope they show us an In Exile Fallout 1 and 2, baby. I hope they give us that remaster of like 1 or 2. Maybe sprinkle 3 in there from another studio, but if I had to like choose Fallout games to be remastered or brought into the light, I would probably say 1 and 2. And that's what they're alluding to for coming out, or an announcement from the TV show coming in November or something. I think they drop those games and those titles out. Yeah, I'm gonna start with that, and then I'll. That's my little fantasy pick, and what I think is definitely going to be there. Go ahead.
Asa, do you want to add anything or query any of Gamzly's predictions before I jump in?
No. I'll just say I don't care about Call of Duty, so they're obviously going to show it, and I'm not massively interested. I guess I'll probably watch the direct thing afterwards, but Gears of War 6, that one, show me that. Show me that. As well as all the ones we already know about, the Avowed and so on. There's a whole... They've got so many games and so many studios and such a solid pipeline that there's no way that this can be a bad show. It would be wild if they don't take our breaths away with it. So imagine. Harder to fail than succeed.
I think to hop on you, Asa. I think and Deadly, you're probably gonna agree. If they, I know we don't like to bring up some console controversy, but we all know that shrouded this whole show is going to be how all of these are one day going to be on another platform. Do we think that they pull off the Band-Aid and they actually like drop a PlayStation logo onto a Gears?
I think okay. So I think no. I don't think Microsoft is going to put its tentpole IPs that Xbox as a brand has become synonymous with those literally being Halo, Gears, and Forza. And I know there's been
game studios like Xbox Game
some words
Studios
pulled
themselves.
from. Well, here's the thing, because there's also been talk about the potential for Hellblade 2 coming, which it sits under Xbox Game Studios, and again, we don't know whether or not that's going to happen. I think Microsoft is playing a really dodgy game by looking at putting Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable onto another platform. But at the same time, objectively, I can recognize the importance of multi-platform sales and being able to sustain those games based on the fact that they all take a really long time to make. So for anyone who doesn't know, part of the reason why these games are costing so much is because of the amount of human hours going into them, because that is by far one of the biggest expenses. You have to pay for everybody else's standard of living, and when these games take 6, 7, 8 years to make, that's when the numbers start going up and up and up, because those people are working more hours and longer and longer and longer as the duration of that timescale goes on. Which is why it's become such a concern about whether or not games of increasing budget, scale, and production value are going to cost more and more to make. It's one of the reasons why PlayStation has also had to start looking at putting games on PC, because they need to be able to cover that cost more so than what users on their current exclusive platform are doing. So obviously,
Games.
I can recognize the reason for doing those things, but I think objectively the harm that Xbox would do to itself as a brand if it puts a franchise that is synonymous with it. I will get to my games list in a second. I am quite happy to argue in favor intellectually as to why Halo Infinite should be on PS5, because of how it would support its multiplayer service. That doesn't mean I think it's right, but I can make perfect sense of why Halo Infinite as a video game would benefit from being on PlayStation as well. That doesn't necessarily mean I think it should be. And that is a very real discussion that Microsoft is going to be having internally, which is why the community sort of set
Wild.
itself on fire earlier this year.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
games. I'm going to
Yeah.
rattle you through a list that I had briefly, or I'd sort of, I'd shared on Twitter replying to Jez Corden. And again, some of this is pipe dreams, some of this I think is possible but not sure. I really want to see a Halo 7 announcement, just a title screen, anything to just go, by the way, we're working on Halo 7, we're really sorry we fucked up on the story with Halo Infinite and left everybody looking for single player content post launch in the lurch. Our bad, we are making another game. That would do me for now. I'm okay with that. I've already got too many games to play, but I would like to know what 343 are up to, please. I think that's really important as a Halo fan who has been left in the dark for too fucking long. A Gears 6 announcement / reveal, and I hope that we get some sort of Marcus Phoenix collection as well. I did see Ghost Wolf earlier in the chat predicted that it could be something that's shadow drops at the end of the show. That would be fucking sick. That would be really cool, and I think that would generate so much hype and buzz. I could see a world where that also comes to PlayStation, and again, I've argued on this show before how that having access to the Marcus Phoenix collection but not having access to the sequels could potentially drive more interest into the cloud ecosystem. It probably isn't enough to push somebody to buy a console, but it is enough to push them into Game Pass and start experimenting more. Whether or not they do that, whether or not they take that risk, as we've said, potential challenges to brand, etc., we don't know. I will rattle through the rest. Forza Horizon 6 announcement, Fable gameplay, Perfect Dark gameplay maybe, but probably not. State of Decay 3 would be quite nice. I really, really want to see a Fallout 3 remaster. I would love that. Starfield Shattered Space, I think, is pretty much guaranteed. And I want to know what the fuck is going on with Everwild, because we have no idea. So that would be nice.
That's dead and buried. They killed the dog. They buried it. They resurrected it as some sort of dog in freaking Sea of Thieves or something. Yeah. That's a solid list. I see it's awesome because even like reading the chat, like people are putting in like stuff like Fable. They have such like this buzz from the TV show helps them a lot. I mean, right now that's why I've been so optimistic about Xbox more than I ever have. I'm an Xbox fan, but I'm also just a gaming fan. I'm a gamer. Probably be why I'm not so rattled or how do I say, overly negative on Xbox like the internet space seems to be, is because I never really thought that way. I just always went where the games are that I want to play. I always had that mindset, so I'm not
largely
I'm not
wherever
sad
Halo
if
was, I went, and wherever my friends
yeah,
were, I went,
exactly.
because the multiplayer
Yeah.
experience on Xbox has always been really
Yep.
good, and that's what I play.
Yeah. And that comes to the segue into my great debate. That's not actually a debate. I come from that, so that's why I'm not overly sensitive if Xbox quote unquote lets me down with finding more audiences. I don't really buy into it. When I see this list, Fable, Gears of War 6, Avowed, Indiana Jones, Call of Duty 700 and plus. Indiana Jones, like all these IP, Forza, I mean, I'm the next Halo, I don't know, Fallouts that are on fire right now, right? Culturally. When you see all these culturally relevant things being pumped out from one company with a service, with a store, they have hardcore fan bases that are still on their hardware, which we like to pretend doesn't exist. I'm optimistic. There's just optimism flowing out, especially for this showcase. And we're about to find out the true strength of these partnerships as the games that have been in development for like 6 years start to plop out. And I have no doubt that if just one of these hits a 9, it'll snowball. All of a sudden you get Indiana Jones hitting a 9, and what if Avowed is a 9? What if Hellblade's a 9? Everybody loves it. There's buzzes about Hellblade 2, which we don't talk about. That snowballs into the Game Awards, and the Game Awards, they have a presence. What if they announce hardware there? What if they announce with a winning title like Fable or nominees, and they come out with freaking hardware or handheld or something? It's like it's I'm not done yet because I'm freaking prissy about this. All right, no, when these things start to happen, right? It takes us as consumers. We're really easy to flip. We're really easy to flip. We've seen that on Twitter countless times and in real life countless times. If there's something great, we buzz about it. The FOMO gets us. The hype gets us. We'll go get that service, or we'll buy it anywhere it is, and that helps the ecosystem regardless. So I'm super hyped for Xbox, and they're gonna stay in the game. Mark my words. I'm looking at you, Darge. 5 years, still on top. All right, next. That's all I gotta say. There's no debate.
Two things I want to jump in with quickly, and then I'll circle back to Asa. So first of all, you said earlier that you didn't think that Call of Duty was coming to Game Pass, and the second thing that you mentioned was the potential for new hardware. The reason why I talked about the video that I put out earlier is because it directly relates to this point. I think that Xbox is in prime position to re-energize the enthusiasm for Xbox hardware and the Xbox ecosystem, which, as we've talked about, is in a fantastic place right now. This is actually the happiest I've been with the Xbox ecosystem. But that's the thing. Like the hardware does a really good job, and for
Yeah, I know. I
500
was just
quid,
playing.
it does that job really, really well.
Mhm.
And shout out to a guy that I went to uni with, by the way. He decided to buy a PS5 this generation because he fancied a bit of a change, and a bunch of his friends had previously been on PlayStation, so he thought he'd go and join them there. As it turns out, all of his mates ended up going out and buying Series X's.
Oh no.
So that happened. But he'd enjoyed his time on PlayStation. He got to play some of the lovely exclusives, etc., etc. But he'd missed the social side, and he had such a craving for Forza. I've mentioned him on this show before. He liked GT7, but he really, really, really likes Forza, and he wanted to get back into that. And when me and a bunch of my uni mates had told him in the chat about Game Pass and the stuff that was on it, he just went, "Holy shit, that's a really good deal." Like, it just sounds really, really good. I told him about Game Pass a few times before. I'm not really sure it went in because he wasn't really thinking about buying another console, and that's fine, because buying one console is quite expensive. Buying two consoles is a lot of fucking money. Here is I'm going to circle back to the point that I was trying to make before I just go rapidly off topic, because we're already running late.
At least your hair is nice. I love it.
Thank you.
I have none.
So I think that there is a possibility that Xbox could reveal new hardware at this showcase, combined with the reveal of Call of Duty going into Game Pass, because I think that is how you energize people who are still on last gen, possibly on either PS4 or PS5 hardware, and a little bit fatigued with what they're getting. And if I'm being brutally honest, and I'm not trying to console war here, basically all you're getting at the moment is remasters, and you are getting some new games for sure. That's, I'm not denying that, but there's not a lot of new first party stuff coming from PlayStation right now, and Xbox is getting more creative and more ambitious with the variety that it's putting out into Game Pass. I think when you then combine Call of Duty going into Game Pass, and I do think it's going to happen. I think that Microsoft is really biding its time and its moment for that. I think that's part of the reason why they've also redacted the Call of Duty information from that poster, because they want people to start talking about it, but everyone knows it's Call of Duty. Come on, let's be honest. And The Verge pretty much confirmed that as well.
It's so pretty.
But
It's like, what is this, Division?
That's the point. This is the first time that we are seeing Call of Duty at an Xbox showcase since the dreaded launch cycle of the Xbox One, where they teased Call of Duty Ghosts. And again, I heard that Call of Duty Ghosts was a bit of a shit show, but at the time, what you've got is, or what you had was Xbox showing what it could do on their hardware, etc., etc. I don't think we're necessarily going to get a big tech demo, but I think the other part of the video that I put out earlier this week actually talks about how I think this may possibly be the first time that we get a current gen only Call of Duty, so one that isn't bound to PS4 and PS4 and Xbox One, because what that does is bring those users that are left over on that platform, because currently, if we think back to the list of most played games on each network, all of them, with the exception of Starfield, are last gen games. All of them can be played on last gen apart from Starfield. So the fact that Starfield made it onto that list, in my opinion, is a massive achievement for that game, because there are so many people playing all of the other stuff on that list. And the only way that you move people on from that list is by going, right, this game that you really, really like, that is consistently within the top 3 most played games every year, we're going to go, you can only play that on the newer hardware. But here's what we're going to do as Xbox. We are releasing a cheaper Series X that doesn't have a disk drive. You know, that shit that leaked twice in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
You can get that console cheaper than you could our old console that had the disk drive in it. By the way, you can get Call of Duty on Game Pass. All of that is right here. Your experience on Call of Duty next gen starts, or current gen starts here. This is everything that you need. Go buy it. And I think that is a really powerful message that a lot of people watching the Xbox showcase and the Call of Duty showcase, because they are now the same thing and they weren't before. So there were previously Activision would be doing its own event for Call of Duty. That's not happening now. Xbox is doing that event. It has so much power with that IP. I don't think we really give that enough credit. It's the weight behind that IP is massive, and I think it will do a lot of good for Xbox this summer.
I have so much to add on this, but I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty because we don't have enough time. But
We still haven't
Asa,
done
do you
our
have
headline
anything?
topic.
Huh?
We haven't done the headline topic either.
No, we
Did we
haven't.
not?
I was gonna smoothly segue into that in a moment. But on
go for it.
your grand debate, Gamzly, and how excited you are for Xbox and all the things they've got coming, it's
Yes.
like it's funny because we started this show, the Xbox Series podcast, at about the same moment that half the Xbox community threw their toys out the pram and decried Xbox and said, "I'm never doing this anymore. We hate it," and all the rest of it. And people said, like, they literally came to us and said, "Oh, you're going to need to rename your podcast already." And I was like, "No, because this is probably the most exciting time in the history of Xbox in terms of the number of games and things they've got coming. So we're going to be absolutely fine." And this week, Kind of Funny wraps up their Xbox podcast as well. Like, it's a trend that people don't want to talk about this platform anymore, and it's a mistake because there is so much going on. There's so much going on. Such a bright future for them. Whether you, and I'm not saying this console warring wise, because I play everywhere and like everything, and will happily stick a VR headset on my face and be the happiest chap in my own little VR world. But the Xbox platform just has so much to talk about and so much to be excited about. It's weird to me that people are trying to distance themselves from it. But
And it's crazy, Asa, because you bring that up. It's fake. It's almost like redundant information that's coming. Like, all we're going by with all this stuff is like fake arguments and people yelling at the top of their lungs, but the numbers in engagement, right? And the numbers in and this is at its low point. This means no new games have been released, right? No new Call of Duty on this console only. Indiana Jones, all the games we mentioned haven't came out, and they're still trending upward in services and software, which we agree is the only thing that matters, right? To push product, okay? Which Netflix and everybody else knows as well. You need that stuff, right? We have an entire generation that hasn't even moved off their consoles, just like Headley stated, right? There's no actual reason with the games that people are popular with people and the masses. There's no reason to kind of hop off yet. You have everything you got. You got Fortnite, you got Call of Duty, you got all that stuff on last gen consoles. You're happy. We're in
Fortnite probably isn't gonna get to a point where like it locks off last gen, but GTA will.
No, but
GTA and Call of Duty are
but
the
this is what I
only
mean,
IPs on that list capable
right?
of doing it.
And it's weird. It's everybody's jumping the gun, but they're buying Xbox stuff on PC, or they're on Game Pass on PC, or they're on, like, those 25 million that have Xboxes haven't sold Xbox. They're on Xbox. They're playing Xbox. They're not jumping ship. So that's why it's very weird data going around calling doom and gloom. My analysis is on this thing is that I don't believe a company like this, with their foot in the door with pillars that are necessary to stand or else everything crumbles, will just get out the door and, say bye-bye, even though they're in a Netflix position, man. They're in a Netflix position. There is no service competing with them right now, except for a half-baked one, right? They're right in the door. They're like, look at me. We have the service. We have the software. The hardware, right now is not being sold to us, but it's a natural progression of growth when you give so much volume. At one point, people are going to open their eyes. It takes time. It's like, man, Call of Duty for the 17th time is in Game Pass on this console. For the 17th time, Forza is in Game Pass on this console or PC. For the 11th time, another Indiana Jones gets another 9 out of 10, and it's on this. Like, it takes time to build that mind share. You know what I mean? And with Call of Duty, I think it's a powerful weapon, and it's so weird that people are hopping off. So, to reiterate, if you are an Xbox fan, in the Xbox ecosystem, you love games, you can be happy. You could be excited. Get pumped. The box doesn't matter. Get pumped about these games. Support the games wherever the freak you want. It'll be okay. Your ecosystem's not going away. Your digital libraries are not going away. Definitely not going away. They need it. And just remember, Netflix and Nintendo and Surface Line, all the hardware had its bumps, and you see Nintendo thriving right now, right? Nintendo's alive. The Surface Line is alive. They don't even sell half as much Surface laptops than they do freaking Xboxes at this moment, right? That's alive.
But
Netflix. Hold on. Netflix. Nope. I'm not having the ignoring the thing for convenience sake. These things are
that's not
there.
what I'm saying. Carry on.
You need 3 pillars. You just need it. As a company in the game to be successful, you need the 3 pillars: software, service, hardware. That's just what you need. And that's what Xbox has. And they're not going to ditch it. Netflix, as I said, got big in the red, and now they're the top dog because nobody saw it coming, and us consumers are slow. We need to be sold on the thing. We will be sold on the thing. It takes time. But right now, how I see it is that Xbox is that Netflix. They see it. It's going to be a slow adoption. Maybe it doesn't even make a lot of money for them. But man, once the content drips in, and you look across the street and you say, well, they're not doing that. At some point, they're going to be the only kid on the block. So why cut it? Right? Why cut it?
Let me have my part.
Yes.
Be excited. Be excited for all the games that are coming. But
yes,
keep on telling Microsoft that they're shit and you don't trust them. Because you want to keep them delivering good games. So don't overly cheer for their successes, or it's going to be microtransactions everywhere. Just
Nope, that's not what I'm fighting for. Again, sometimes enthusiasm can be confused with shilling, or like we like to say on the interwebs. But enthusiasm is a powerful thing, and they have always given me what I like. So I'm not really in the same boat as everybody. I have a different perspective. I've been on Xbox, PC, PlayStation, Nintendo from day one. Again, I'm that gamer. I go where the games are. I just have fun. If things happen, they happen. I don't ask questions. You're allowed to ask questions, hold them accountable, makes the product better. Go keep doing that, but also understand that your libraries are safe. And your hardware you can enjoy, and you can enjoy your software. So go do that and play games and enjoy. Don't worry about that other stuff that has such a low percentage of happening, right? That's almost impossible. Such a low percentage, and that's why I fight people on it. There's such a low percentage of them cutting their own leg off than not. So go with the higher percentage. That's all I'm saying. And
you would fight people
happens.
over the color of cheese. You just like to fight people.
I would.
Headley.
I would fight people. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Controversial or not, I love video games. And I love Xbox and what they're doing at the moment.
Very quickly, just going to address a comment in the chat. So CFresh2180 says that you don't need hardware if you're a full third-party publisher. They're not a full third-party publisher to every platform. They publish on PC. They publish everything on PC. So technically, yeah, they're a full third-party publisher in that respect. But they have openly said, we're not just going to go and put all of our games on PlayStation, so don't sit and wait for that to happen. Phil Spencer
also say something?
said that in an interview. Again, that may change at some time, but what's not likely to change is where they put Game Pass. And again, they have talked about wanting to put Game Pass on other platforms, but they've also acknowledged that other platforms are saying no. And again, we don't know. This industry is so fluid,
Deadly.
but the ecosystem that is offered on Xbox hardware versus anywhere else is currently its USP. And that's why I don't think Xbox hardware is going anywhere, because they've already committed to it. Go on.
The hardware side, whatever form it comes, it needs to be there. And they can't get out of that. It just needs to be there, whether it forms itself as a Surface laptop or whatever the fuck. It's going to be there. Xbox branding will be there. It's for gamers. It's their service. That's where they go for gamers,
It's
right? That's their
Microsoft's
service.
gaming arm. It's
Yes.
too big to kill at
They
this
make
point.
Surface laptops right now that are abysmal at the moment, and they have their core audience. They make money off this hardware, and that line does not make as much as Xbox right now. And it's just such a growth market that you'd be a lunatic to step out of, especially when you have the monopoly in the service department, guys. We're not seeing that. They have the monopoly. Their competitor doesn't want to chase that. They don't want to chase it because they know they're going to lose on it. Right now, they're Netflix, like 100%. They're Netflix against Hulu, Disney Plus, and whatever. That's exactly what they're doing here, guys. They have a monopoly in this area with their IP that they have right now. In the future, they're like, people won't resist forever. You can hold on to it, but at one point, the AUX cable is coming out of your phone. All right? At one point, that's going to happen. It might be a slow adoption, but it's going to happen. And they see it in other areas, and it's not smart for a lot of people to look back in history and ignore all the other mediums because we think we're special. For good or worse. For good or
special.
worse.
Sure.
Right? No, you be quiet. For good or worse, Microsoft will be on the top of the service game in a large number. And that's just the good or the bad, of the industry. You can name it however you want. If you think Microsoft is terrible, Xbox is terrible, from what they have in their pocket right now, they're going to be number one in services, and it's going to be a landslide because their competition isn't wanting to do that and is lagging behind. So let's calm down on the Xbox is going to die thing. They just won't die. They can't.
For balance, I think it's worth also sort of calming down on landslide and first place language, because I think you do still have to acknowledge the fact that there is that. Services. I mean, they're fantastic at providing services, but
that's what I mean. Is what I mean by monopoly
and growth of those services is a challenge that they're still trying to figure out, and I want them to figure it out.
They're still trying to figure that out in the current form of the service that does not have the biggest thing in gaming in it. It's just we're saying that right now
Roblox.
with a catalog that hasn't dropped. The catalog hasn't even dropped yet. Netflix was dreadful for years. For years, it was dreadful. Just look at the past. Look at history. It's all good.
We should finish up on this topic. So I think I'm just going to round it off by saying that it's these big changes that happen at a company level. They take a long time to implement. You think about how long Microsoft has been acquiring studios for. You think about how many times for how long it has been stacking its own deck. And now it's finally getting to the point where it is prepared to show some hands. And it's been showing a few hands over the last couple of years. But it feels like this show might be the first time it's going to show a fairly valuable hand, being the Call of Duty IP. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be an interesting one. But these
we
things
have
move so slowly.
Way overrun, and we've got 8 questions. But before then, we've not done our thumbnail topic yet. So, Deadly Headley, are you going to play Starfield at 60 frames per second on your Series X? Are you
Who's
angry
hyped about
at Xbox for
Starfield?
releasing the game at 30? What's just real quick, burst through this topic and tell us what we need to know.
Dude, I'm so fucking hyped about the fact that Starfield is getting a 60 mode and it's not a mod, because I tell you what, I don't care about achievements very much, but I have really enjoyed seeing the achievements that I've popped off during Starfield. I've achieved something in this game that I was worried that I wasn't going to like, because I struggled to like Bethesda RPGs back in the past, but now I love them.
Is there an achievement for I've seen fluid motion that you just can't unlock yet?
Time will tell. We'll find out on May 15th. It's good. Major quality of life. Major quality of life improvements coming to Starfield. Big ones that I'd actually called out in the review that really they weren't there and they should have been when I reviewed it. It's about a couple 2-3 weeks after it came out. The lack of city maps was a real pain. We are now getting proper area maps with sort of points of interest as well, so you can go and find shops really easily, and they show up on your scanner. If you like decorating your ships and your hubs and stuff like that and outposts, they've now made it easier for you to do that, so that you can manually place sort of decorative items and stuff like that. You also now have empty hubs that you can buy for your ship as well, so that you can actually deck it out properly and to customize it the way that you want it from the inside. I don't know if you can do that while you're buying ship parts. That actually was something that I found really annoying and frustrating. Whether or not they've managed to thread that needle, I don't know, but I'm just glad that things are moving. Honestly, the quality of life updates are considered and good for Starfield the game, so I'm happy about that. They have teased that they are working on a land vehicle, which is so fucking cool. Like, I'm ecstatic about that, because I had convinced myself that the only way that was going to happen was via a mod. And again, I think it's really important that they deliver that stuff before the game then starts getting sort of stacked with mods on top of it as well.
Do you think,
really, really good news from the team. Go on.
Because you're right that we've got mods are coming. You've got this patch is happening in a couple of weeks, right? Middle of May, you're getting the 60 frames performance mode on the series consoles. You're getting these extra maps, you're getting the shipbuilding and things.
Maybe.
Yeah, 15th of May. But you've also got in the pipeline that we know are coming, you've got these drivable vehicles, you've got the Shattered Space expansion. Are you thinking that you're likely to play it again in May, or do you wait for Shattered Space at this point? And what's the smart play for your Starfield? A Creation Club that's coming soon, all of these user mods. Because I'm thinking Shattered Space for me. You want to jump back in?
I'm definitely going to jump in on the 15th, at very least, just to sort of find my feet in my playthrough again, because I've not really touched it since I dipped off it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back on it. What was I saying? No, it's gone.
Really excited. You're just excited.
Yeah, I'm just generally
so
very, very hyped for it. Yeah, very hyped.
I'm going to pop in. Yes, I'm going to pop in just to feel how it feels on my consoles. I'm going to just, for research purposes, but that's it. And then I'm going to be like you, Asa. I'm going to just wait until the Shattered Space, which is probably being announced as well in the showcase. So, shown probably at the showcase. So, yeah, that's a safe bet to keep an eye out. And when that comes out, probably at the end of the year or something, I don't know if they put a date on it or something, I'll pick it up in Shattered Space and redo a playthrough. All right.
Right, Isla's tired and is going to die, so let's get through. Isla, are you able to pick like just 3 or 4 of the questions? We've probably got more, but we have massively overrun. Ghost Wolf, is the Shattered Space DLC going to be available for Game Pass subs? No, it's not, because they already charged Game Pass subscribers for that DLC as part of the early access content thing. So
if you got the premium edition, either the premium edition of Starfield or the premium upgrade, as well as obviously playing it on Game Pass. So I think the premium upgrade was about 30 quid on top, just as like a one-time payment on top of your regular Game Pass subscription. You'll get it. That's how I've been playing, and that's how I'll play Shattered Space.
Yeah. So no, that'll be a paid-for DLC. It won't be included on Game Pass unless they completely change and shift gears, as they've already made
Howard
people
did
pay for
describe
it,
it as massive, which is good to know.
Long Pete question coming into chat right now. Look out for the paste. So, you notice Hypercharge Unboxed is dropping on X soon. You'd lost track of the title. A quick look on Steam. It shows great reviews and a demo. Why would the devs choose to supply a PC demo, but not an Xbox demo? It looks like plenty of folks do not believe in parity across multiple platforms. I actually don't know the routes and the hoops you have to jump through to get a demo onto Xbox. They're not quick to certify things in general, which is why quite often on the PC side, if you've got like a joint Steam and Xbox release, they're often not the same version of the game. Xbox lags behind by a couple of weeks because their certification process. That is probably even more true on demo. I would think on Steam it's very easy to push something through. This is a very small studio, so that's probably just a couple of extra hoops that they don't feel they need to go through. Maybe post-launch, when they've got a bit of time, then we'll see something similar. speculative. But anything from you two on that one, or should we blast to the next one?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, so not a definitive answer, Pete, but that would be my best guess. Steve in Southwick, if cloud gaming improves, will it impact the sales of new-gen consoles? If people can play the games via cloud on current gen, would some people just do that and not invest in next gen? That's an inevitability of the future at some point as cloud gaming improves. Won't be as soon as the next Xbox, I don't think, but...
Yeah,
if you're getting console quality,
agree,
why would you buy a console?
I don't think it will necessarily have a negative impact on console sales or an impact. I think so. I've often advocated on this show, especially in some of the earlier shows that we've done on here. I really want to see Xbox deliver a cloud streaming device, or like Project Keystone, which was basically looked a little bit like a Kinect. It was some sort of prototype device that we've seen on Phil Spencer's shelf. It's also shown up in leaked documents from the FTC case, etc. If effectively it is Xbox's answer to Stadia, I want to see them bring something like that to market, because I think it will help bring users into the Xbox ecosystem who aren't necessarily in a financial position to break out of their current ecosystem. Because I guess, like, for everyone watching this kind of thing, we're more inclined to spend more of our hard-earned money in gaming because it's our hobby and it's our passion and we love it. But the amount of people who I know in my personal life who don't love gaming as much as I do, but still really like playing video games, may only have the option of getting one. I don't have children, so I don't really have to worry about where my money goes instead of on them because they don't exist. So
you have me. I wouldn't say that.
It's true.
I'm your child.
So I'm still in a point in my adult life where I can afford to game on multiple hardware, but I couldn't before, and that's why I've always been an Xbox guy, because I couldn't afford to also buy a PlayStation and then buy all of the games that come with that, etc., etc. As much as I love the hobby, I didn't have the money at the time. So I really want to see Xbox deliver a solution like this that can make it more affordable for people to jump into the ecosystem without having to cough up that 500 quid up front, because it is a lot of money for a lot of people. And I actually think that would be a really good solution that you could pitch to people who primarily game on PlayStation, but see the appeal of having Xbox, of having cloud streaming, being able to access games like Hellblade and Starfield and Forza and Halo without needing to commit to that cost, but haven't bought a new Samsung TV, for example, because that's the only other way that you can do it. So I will always advocate for that, because I think it's really important for the broader Xbox ecosystem.
Hey, Gamzly, I saw you flirting with the prison guard, but you're done. Okay, let's have the next question, please. We'll do two more.
Flirting? What do you mean?
With the prison
All
guard.
I was flirting with was Deadly. Anyway, next.
So, Danny Passion, didn't Sarah Bond say that Activision, AMD, Blizzard games are going to be on Game Pass day one? She most certainly did, and so did Matt Booty.
Yeah, no, see, I think that was directed at me. Look, to clarify, I hope, and, it's probably 99% coming. I was just putting it out there that it's okay if this one is bound by something. That's all I was saying. But yeah, probably 99% coming. That's all I was saying.
I think it has to be all or nothing. Yeah.
It's
well,
more,
again, we just don't know.
If there's a Call of Duty contract that binds them for the 2024 release, they knew that in advance of saying that everything is coming. So, like, one of these things shouldn't be true. They shouldn't have said all the games are coming if they knew that it wasn't accurate at the time of saying that. So, make of that what you will. How would Ned Flanders pronounce Deadly Headley?
Oh, God.
It's got to be a Deedly Headley, which is how we introduced.
Deadly Headley.
Deedly Headley.
Deedly Headley's made a return. Episode 1, Deedly Headley. That's what Gamzly was calling him before they spoke, so it's got to be the answer.
Not a joke. That's real.
Man didn't even bother to learn my name before we started the podcast. Can you believe
Fuck
this
that
shit?
guy, you know what I mean?
Nate State Games has asked. And this is our very last question. Any Arcadians up for some Hypercharge unboxed at the end of the month? Deadly Headley is furiously nodding.
Absolutely.
Gamzly is always up for every game, or so he says, but there is only so much time in the week. He's trying to arrange some proper tabletop Dungeons and Dragons for us as well.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
As well as all the MMOs, all the multiplayer games and all the rest of it. So yes, Nate, I'm sure that we'll be able to get a group together within our community, which obviously expands like beyond the three of us that are sitting here. So all of these people in chat, everyone that's got those fancy coloured names, they're all part of the community as well. Everyone that's watching you could say they're part of it too, but do get on the Discord. That's where we organise these things, and it is well worth a look. I think we've reached the end of our 2 hours. Good luck with the timestamps, you two. You can compare notes and see how you handled those tangents and things.
I stopped 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm just going to listen back and I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to also do that as well. I'm so sorry. We had a really big list, though. We didn't even get through the kind of funny stuff.
I tell you what, we will actually try and figure out a way of doing it. Isla may have figured something out, but we need to get like some sort of stopwatch, because I haven't been keeping track properly.
Yeah,
if there are any more professional podcasters than ourselves and they're still listening, so I'm looking at people like Risk It, I'm looking at people like Special Nick, because I know you guys listen in. Fucking drop me a DM and tell you how you do this shit so well, because
I think it's outrageous that you think anyone is more professional than us, but
yeah, how dare they? No, they suck. Don't listen to those guys.
I wouldn't have said that.
I am qualified in professional podcasting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
that's it. We're done. So, Deadly Headley, tell people where they can find you. What's coming next on your channel? All of the outro stuff.
Segue. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I am literally like qualified in professional podcasting. I have a journalism degree. I am a graphic designer by day and a game fan / content creator by night. You can find my content on my channel named after me, Deadly Headley. You can also find me on Twitter at Deadly Headley _. Don't forget the underscore. I really want that handle. I want it so bad. Fine. We'll get there. You can also, if you've enjoyed listening to this, I'm going to recommend that you go and listen to Kayasante's show that I did with him and Everborn Saga and Game Logic as well. On Saturday, just gone, the Gaming Circle podcast, we had a really good chat. We got into some politics and video games as well, which is probably something that you guys don't know about me. I really like talking about politics. Well, I don't like talking about politics. I like paying attention to politics to my own detriment. Talking about politics is a bit of a twat. Anyway, yeah, you can find me in those places. Obviously, you can find me here every week on a Thursday. It's 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. Pacific, as well as some other awesome podcasts on this channel, which I'm not a part of, but you should subscribe and like and do all of those awesome things anyway. And go watch my video. It's on my channel.
Yes, do those things. If you haven't already subscribed to Deadly Headley's channel, do that as soon as we've closed off here, which is any second now. Gamzly, tell people where they can find you. What are you up to?
Oh my god, mostly just debating on Discord about random shit. No, I've been doing a lot of stuff. Mostly working on my house and trying to get out of this prison. Help me. Send help, Tony. Help. No, you can find me on Gamzly at Gamzly TKD on X and Twitter. You can also find me here on the Gaming Arcadia YouTube channel in the Xbox Series podcast every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. No other time zone matters, so don't worry about that. Boom show every lunchtime on Monday. And I'm also planning something with Kaysante, so check out my Twitter for news on that, and I'll be appearing there as well. So thanks for coming. Hit the like button. Love you guys, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, and obviously you can find me here and on the Discord all the time. There's podcasts on the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday, games on the Sunday, probably some games on some other days of the week, and loads going on. So thank you everyone for coming through and supporting the show as you always do. We'll see you next week for episode 14.
Bye everybody.